And what's going to happen after that is that there will be a minute silence for the victims of the earthquake and the tsunami in Japan. So as the referee and the players pose for a photo, I can just remind you of the team news. There's no Didier Drogba or Nicolas Anelka. They are both on the bench. Carlos Tevez is injured, so Edin Dzeko starts up front for Manchester City with Mario Balotelli among Roberto Mancini's substitutes. The players make their way to the centre circle, the Chelsea players with arms around each other's shoulders, the same for the Manchester City players in their white shirts, and there will now be a minute's silence for the victims of the Japanese earthquake and tsunami.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Respect, solidarity and sympathy for the people of Japan at these most challenging of times. Thank you.
This is 5 Live from the BBC. Barclays Premier League coverage this afternoon is Chelsea against Manchester City. Your commentary team, Alan Green, Craig Burley, and first of all this afternoon, Mike Ingham.
And our thoughts continue to be with the folks in Japan. The thing is, Craig, I mean, I don't know if you've been out there, but they love their Premier League football in Japan too. They watch absolutely everything over there.
Yeah, I actually made my debut for Scotland there, Mike, in Hiroshima, whatever way you want to pronounce it, way back in '94. So yeah, I've been out there and it's troubled times.
Yes.
Very troubled times. Put football and life in perspective,
absolutely.
Really, doesn't it?
I will remind you of the lineups after we get underway here, but Chelsea will begin this game defending the Matthew Harding stand away to our right. It's an oversimplification, but in many ways, looking at this game, it comes down almost to a shootout between two players who really have got something to prove, I think. Dzeko of Manchester City looking for his first Premier League goal, and Fernando Torres as well, still looking to open up his account for Chelsea. But 50 million for Torres is exactly what City played for both Balotelli and Dzeko. Anyway, here we go with the sides playing it around inside their own half. Chelsea, Fabio Capello here, watching John Terry, Frank Lampard, Ashley Cole, Joe Hart, Gareth Barry, James Milner and Micah Richards too, I would hope, even though he's in the under-21s. Unlucky not to be in the full squad. Game settling down. City have had to change from their light blue. They're playing in white shirts with a red strip, and they've won a free kick for a foul by Essien on Dzeko. No tempo at all at the start of this game. Very leisurely, and now it's De Jong with the free kick. Played short to Yaya Toure. Now to Gareth Barry over on the left-hand side. It's just walking pace at the moment, and two Italian coaches here, the two best defensive records in the Premier League. Let's hope we get an early goal from a neutral point of view here, just to open things up. Luis now gets his first touch inside the Chelsea half and plays it back with pace to check. Very leisurely start, Craig, here.
Yeah, very. We kind of thought with Kalou, Torres and the same side that Kalou might play wide and one side and Malouda wide in the other. Solomon Kalou's actually playing through the middle with Fernando Torres in what looks like a kind of orthodox 4-4-2. So A little bit strange.
Well, if you're just joining our commentary, let me tell you that neither Drogba nor Anelka are starting today, as Carlo Ancelotti's trying to get the right balance, but he's picking Torres ahead of the other two, so they all have to fit in. Chelsea's lineup is Cech, Ivanovic, Luis, Terry and Cole, Essien, Ramirez, Lampard, Malouda, Kalou and Torres. A rare start for Kalou. Can he make the most of it? City with Tevez out with a groin injury, and James Milner makes a return to the squad. Balotelli's back on the bench. They have Hart, Richards, Company, Lescott and Kolarov. Lampard going forward, tackled cleanly by De Jong, just broke off there in case referee Chris Foy was going to give a free kick. It's out of play now over on the far side. The rest of the City side then: De Jong, Barry, Silva, Toure, Milner and Dzeko. Chris Foy, as I say, is the referee, and the ball is back with Joe Hart in the City goal away to our left. Chelsea, of course, made a blistering start to the season, winning all their opening games, scoring loads of goals, and then their first defeat was at Manchester City in September, when Carlos Tevez on the breakaway got the only goal. So Ancelotti's looking for his first win over Mancini in the Premier League. He's looking for his first win over City, come to that. And again, the pace is very slow as Hart clears. High one towards this near side of the field. Ashley Cole jumping with James Milner. The ball back inside City's half. Mancini was appealing for something down there. His side have the ball. De Jong rolls it square to Gareth Barry. Barry to Yaya Toure. And now a good ball clips down the left-hand side of the field to Kolarov, faced by his fellow countryman Ivanovic. In comes the ball straight at Petr Cech.
Well, he's allowed to run an awful long way there, Alexander Kolarov. Ivanovic had tucked in, and Ramirez, who is playing the wider of the players, didn't quite track back.
You're listening to 5 Live. Ivanovic is now coming on a good break for Chelsea, but it's a poorish ball in, which is volleyed back by Lescott to the halfway line. Craig Burley, former Chelsea man, of course, with us here at Stamford Bridge for one of the showpiece games, Chelsea and Manchester City. Very much settling down though in the first 4 minutes. Chelsea now with Malouda onto Torres, doesn't control it first time. Richards gets it away from him, and the one thing that Torres at the moment is lacking is that crucial pace. Maybe the injuries have taken their toll on him, as now Kolarov clears. Big high one towards Dzeko. Dzeko does well, wins the ball in the air. Silva feeds off it. Silva back again to Dzeko, just inside the Chelsea penalty area. In comes the challenge from Lewis. Just does enough to force Dzeko out of the penalty area. City retain possession though. Kolarov over on the far side. Short pass to Yaya Toure. In now to the unmarked Silva. Silva buzzing around as usual here. Plays it back again to Yaya Toure. Now clipped to the left-hand side to Kolarov. City making a reasonably confident start here. Kolarov takes the ball towards the dead ball line, drags it back. Essien's waiting to clear now inside the Chelsea penalty area. Still some woe. Ramirez has given the ball away, and City back in possession again. De Jong to Barry. City getting more of the ball early on here. Still building over on that left-hand side. It's Nigel De Jong now. Good crisp pass to Milner. Milner forward, can't get it past Luis though. Wasn't particularly well laid off by Milner. Now Chelsea looking to counter-attack here. Ivanovic again, one good run already. Ivanovic, Kalou made a run and he wanted the ball. He tried to find Torres down the right-hand side. City have it back again, and inside the centre circle, Barry nudges it off to Micah Richards. Craig.
I don't know why Fernando Torres, when David Luiz came forward there, why he wants to go and stand out in the right-hand touchline. I just don't know why he wants to drift so far out wide.
Silva now for City. He has been a good signing to Silva. Now De Jong. De Jong, this is good play from City. Milner against Luiz. Oh, and Milner now onto Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure shot. Cech turns it away. Still in play for Silva. Crossing opportunity for the Spaniard. And it comes from Silva. Richards off balance with a header. Luiz will clear out of the penalty area. But De Jong knocks it back in again. And City made a decent start here. Chelsea looking to break now. Lampard onto Malouda. City players getting back now in number. Malouda for Lampard. Edge of the centre circle. Down the centre now. Looking, in fact, down the left-hand side. Ashley Cole just about keeps it in. No, he doesn't. And it's a throw to Manchester City, who were really threatening there.
Yeah, first save of the match. Petr Cech, a good save down to his right-hand side, low from a strike from 20 yards from Yaya Toure. But again, the architect really is the midfield from Man City, getting it into David Silva, who's playing slightly on the left-hand side, but doesn't stay there, Mike. Wants to tuck in. He's very good at finding those little pockets between midfield and defence. And once he gets turned Silva in those areas, he can pick a pass. Much brighter start from the away side.
Well, it's very much a sort of Shirley Bassey game, this. Hey, big spenders, both of them. And looking at the benches, ignore the goalkeepers, outfield players on the bench for Chelsea: Drogba, Mikel, Basingba, Zhirkov, Ferreira and Anelka. And for City, Wright Phillips, Adam Johnson, Chelsea building. Boateng, Vieira, Boyata and Balotelli. Here come Chelsea now. Malouda. Good block though by Company. It's back on inside the centre circle. Essien has an injury now to Dzeko. Essien's challenge.
Yeah. I thought it was a good challenge, Mike. In all honesty. The ball's just broke free. Essien's gone down for it. He's played the ball. He's trailing leg. His momentum's caught Dzeko. You know, I've always said this. How can you make a challenge at full speed and then stop yourself? And for anybody that says it's his momentum that takes him through, it's just absolute nonsense.
By the way, on the subject of refereeing, I'd love to ask a referee to try and point out the difference between Jamie Carragher's challenge on Nani and Johnny Evans' challenge yesterday on Holden. One was a yellow card and one was a red. Couldn't really see too much difference between either of those challenges as Luis clears onto the halfway line. Back header from Kalou, and now here goes Fernando Torres. Needs support. He's boxed in against Lescott. Does well to find Kalou. Kalou doesn't control it though. Lescott really battling well there for City. And now the visitors trying to break, and in goes Ramirez with a clear foul, and that's a free kick to Manchester City.
I mean, I can't answer your question, but what I would say is that Jamie Carragher's challenge was probably worse in many ways.
So you kind of gone along my way. And what I'm trying to say is, you know, it's a consistency, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you have the same referee doing every single game. Anyway, free kick to Manchester City. 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge, and the ball is back with Lescott.
The trouble is for Chelsea that with the system they're playing with Kalou and Torres up front, if Solomon Kalou doesn't drop back into midfield quick enough, or back a little bit deeper quick enough, Man City will get the extra man in there, and they've just been popping the ball around.
Right, well, this game just needs something to ignite it at the moment, because if we're not careful, this just could carry on for the next 80 minutes or so. This chess match between Ancelotti's side and Mancini's side, just jockeying for positions inside the first four as Czech clears now. Flatter one this time. The bounce evades Kalou though, and it travels through once more to Joe Hart.
I wonder what Drogba and Elka must be sitting in that bench thinking.
Well, apparently Didier's quite happy with he was talking, wasn't he? He's buys into the rotation, if you believe what he was saying in midweek.
Well, if he's happy, it's time for him to go.
Yeah.
Simple.
But it's all down to Torres now to justify, if you like, the selection ahead of those two, as now Silva escapes Lampard's challenge and Silva feeds Kolarov over on the left-hand Barry over on the left-hand side. Barry against Ivanovic. Ivanovic is effective wherever he plays in the back four, and he stabs that out for a throw-in. Now it is Kolarov into the penalty area. Travelled an awful long way. Dzeko doesn't control it though, and Chelsea at the moment pretty much playing at home on the counter. And the ball is with Ashley Cole down below us on the left-hand side. Chelsea 0, City 0. Good ball by Cole. Here comes Malouda now for Chelsea. Across comes the defender, and the defender was De Jong, and De Jong manages to get it away from Malouda. The Chelsea move breaks down. Ashley Cole's now going to try and steal it back again from James Milner. Torres intercepts, and it's a throw into City near side the right.
Yeah, it was a good run from Florian Malouda. Mika Richards had just pushed on a little bit, so there was a space and a big gap in behind for Ashley Cole just to dink a ball down the channel. But Nigel De Jong, being the holding midfielder, had spotted it, had tracked the run. Malouda tried to play the early ball in, and De Jong blocked it. Did a very good job there, actually.
Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. The last Premier League game for a couple of weeks then, with the international break that we were talking about. Alan and I were scratching our heads last weekend when the FA Cup games were being played, that there were no Premier League games scheduled at all, which seems surprising, as now City look to Yaya Toure down the left. There's a good run from Silva, but Yaya Toure doesn't manage to find him, and then he goes down under a challenge from Luis. Hasn't got back on his feet yet. City have the ball. Will they put it out of play? No. Yaya Toure's hobbled back on his feet again, and Richards for Manchester City feeds it in field to Milner. No away wins since Boxing Day, remember. Now that includes trips to places like Notts County and Leicester, Birmingham, and a defeat at Aston Villa. Here goes Torres now for Chelsea down the left-hand side. Kalou makes a run. Torres' pass was a bit heavy though towards Kalou. Even the sort of simple and straightforward things at the moment, there's a lack of conviction and confidence about Torres, and it's a goal kick.
See, I think 18 months ago, 12 months, whatever it is, the time frame, he would have taken that on there, and he would have committed a defender, he'd have dropped his shoulder, and he'd have put on that extra bit of pace, that afterburner that he had, and he'd have gone past somebody. You're absolutely right, Mike. He had a pass on to Kalou. It was quite a simple one. He had one inside, and he's overhit it by 5 yards from 10 yards away.
Dave Woods at Warrington. Let's go to you, Dave.
Well, it's an extraordinary scoreline here. Warrington 60, Harlequin 6, and we played barely less than 60 minutes. 10 tries for Warrington. They're simply cutting Harlequins apart. Remember, Harlequins only been beaten once this season. I think they're going to be beaten today. Warrington 60, Harlequin 6.
Sadly, nothing like the same kind of fireworks going on here at Stamford Bridge yet, and we really do need someone to get in front here and maybe open up the game, as now it's Salomon Kalou for Chelsea, bustling forward. Torres looking to make a run. Kalou running a long way with the ball, then he puts it to the right hand side to Ramirez. Ramirez in the air and tumbled down under a challenge. I think he lost his
fell over
feet, though, really.
He fell over his own player there.
There was no suggestion of a penalty and no appeal for it either.
No, because Ramirez and Kalou.
Ramirez probably unused to being in that zone, really, just couldn't believe his luck and tumbled over his own player, and City escape, and now they have the ball on the halfway line.
I think the ball dropped at Kalou's feet there about the penalty spot with a clear-cut opportunity, and Ramirez actually bundled into him.
Now Torres has got away from Nigel de Jong. Chelsea on the break here. Torres down the centre. Only Kalou really ahead of him. Torres is moving towards the left-hand side and feeds Florian Malouda. Better from Chelsea. Malouda just edges inside the penalty area. In goes the cross into the side netting. No touch there from Joe Hart, so it's going to be a goal kick.
Well, it's relatively open because Manchester City have started well and they are pushing men forward, so there's been the odd foray forward from Chelsea. Fernando Torres there just running in, that's what I was saying earlier, he should be doing a bit more of. It's interesting, whenever he plays it wide, Mike, Torres into a position for somebody to cross it, I tend to watch Torres in the box and his movement, and he kind of stands and waits for something to happen rather than making a run. Maybe I'm just being hypercritical because of the time he's having at the moment.
Well, Craig's already mentioned the attitude from Drogba and Anelka. At some point in this game I'm sure we will see them, and we will see what kind of response Carlo Ancelotti gets from them. I have to say, when I was here for the Manchester United match, I thought Drogba came on and really was very professional, and as disappointed as he might have been to be left out of that game, he came on and gave it absolutely everything. Remember, it's Celtic 1, Rangers 1 in the League Cup final. Earlier Liverpool had a 2-0 win at Sunderland, and now it's Kalou once more. Selected ahead of Drogba and Anelka. Malouda's ball cut out by Company on the halfway line. In goes John Terry. First time we've mentioned him really in the commentary. Good ball clipped to the left hand side. Calling for it is Torres. The ball is with Kalou. Sidesteps Milner's challenge, and then nothing at the end of it. But Ashley Cole will smack it back in again, and almost puts that into the top tier behind Joe Hart's goal. But suddenly a little bit brighter from Chelsea, Craig.
Yeah, plenty of bodies forward there. John Terry coming out and winning it. I think it was Yaya Toure, a bit of a 50-50. Don't think he fancied it as the big centre half stepped out, and that just set them on their way, really. They had Kalou drove into the box. He's quite sharp, Kalou, when he gets in the penalty area. He's got good feet and good balance. Ball broke out, 25 yards slight on the left, and Ashley Cole couldn't keep it down.
Both sides at times struggling for natural width here. Midfield's very strong from both, with Barry sitting alongside de Jong. You've got Essien breaking things up with Ramirez for Chelsea, and it's 0-0 at Stamford Bridge, and we've played nearly 15 minutes of the first half on what is quite a mild late afternoon here. Throw in to Chelsea over on the far side, and it's out of play for. You just got a picture of Didier Drogba, I think. What would he look like?
Yeah, he's wearing a hat.
Oh, okay.
Looking happy as you can be for a kind of star man, inverted commas, who's left out, just chewing his fingernails there.
Well, you could have got a lot of money, I think, at the start of this season, that we would arrive here on the 20th of March with a Chelsea-Manchester City game. They'd all be fit, and that neither Drogba nor Anelka would make it in the starting lineup here today for Chelsea. Kalou, his role for the most part of his career has been as an impact player, and we're going to take you back to the cricket, the World Cup, and Lee James.
The West Indies have been bowled out for 188, a dramatic collapse. So India have won by 80 runs. It means India and the West Indies are into the quarter-finals, and crucially for England, it means they'll be playing Sri Lanka in the last 8 in Colombo.
Thank you very much indeed. They're a decent one-day side, though, I think, Sri Lanka. So interesting stuff in the Cricket World Cup, which really comes alive, of course, from now on. Let's hope this game will come alive soon as well here at Stamford Bridge. It's 0-0 between Chelsea and Manchester City, and the ball is with City, and it's with Company just in front of us down this right-hand side. Clips the ball into Dzeko. Off the chest to Yaya Toure. Oh, if he could have got that through to Silva, it would have been interesting for City. Chelsea close them down, and now Lampard plays the ball to Torres, who goes inside the City half. Back comes Gareth Barry. Barry against Torres. Torres hasn't got the legs to go forward, and it's cleared by Lescott and opens up for Kolarov now over on the City left. We're just hoping this game can move up a couple of gears here now. Yaya Toure back to Barry. And now down the left-hand side for Kolarov, who looks for the throw-in, plays it straight at Ramirez, and he gets the throw. Craig.
Just come back to that Cricket World Cup. Being a Scotsman, you can't surely get beat off Ireland and then win the World Cup at cricket, can you? It can't be allowed, that, can it?
Well, I remember Italy losing to the Republic of Ireland in an opening game in the World Cup and almost winning the World Cup, getting through to the final, losing a penalty shootout.
No, I'm talking about cricket, mate.
No, I'm just trying to... Ashley Cole now for Chelsea. And Ashley Cole again. No, I know, I'm just kidding.
I didn't know the Italians had a cricket side, but there you go.
For Maluda now for Chelsea. Shot is brilliantly charged down by Company. Chelsea have another chance, maybe. Again, it's a bit slow, though, the pace, and City got everybody back inside their own half. Tevez, by the way, just in case you were joining us, he's not playing today. I think he's sitting in the stand. He has a groin problem, and now it's Ashley Cole of Chelsea. Again, still moving it around the pitch, a little pedestrian, though. Ball in field now to Michael Essien. Ivanovic is looking interested over on the far side. Now it goes to him. Ivanovic to Luis. Luis hasn't made any big runs forward yet for Chelsea. Essien, who'll be playing against England in about 10 days' time at Wembley, one would imagine. Ashley Cole now, infield to Maluda. Now, we've had a lot of passing from Chelsea. Are they going to get anything on the end of this? Cole, infield now to an unmarked Kalou. Shooting opportunity. No, he plays it square to Lampard. Bit tight for Lampard, who then sticks it into the crowd. Back to Roddy Forsyth at the League Cup final.
And even as you come to us, Fraser Forster having to tip over the top there from a free kick by young Greg Wild, and he was a long distance out, but he's so confident, the teenager, that he hit it from a good 40 yards or more with the Celtic goalkeeper tipping it over. And where does that leave us? Well, at the moment, midway through this second half, it's still deadlocked at Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Just stay with us for a moment, because Rangers have this corner kick. They've been causing problems to Celtic with them throughout this half. Here it comes, swirling away towards the back, headed by David Weir, and Celtic will allow that to go behind, and we may be heading for what Craig Brown predicted, extra time, if not penalties, one each.
Thank you, Roddy. 18 and a half minutes gone at Stamford Bridge. In the Premier League, it's 0-0 between Chelsea and Manchester City, and now Essien gets away from difficulty well, and now Ramirez slides it down the right hand side, and it's Ivanovic on the ball for Chelsea. In the area, Maluda and Fernando Torres. Torres, of course, on his birthday today, 27 today. Is that going to break his run? In it goes now to Frank Lampard. Lampard slots it back to Ashley Cole. Cole feeds it forward now to Maluda. Cole's made a little run, Maluda dilly-dallied, and the challenge came in from Company, and Chelsea now 20 yards further back. Now Luis, can he go forward for the first time here for Chelsea? He's bringing the ball forward, and then he loops it to the left-hand side, dabbed down neatly by Ashley Cole to Maluda. Cross comes in from Maluda, very deep, too deep perhaps. Kalou will get it. Kalou knocked it in, appeal for a handball there against Jolyon Lescott. Nothing given, throw in only far side.
Well, I would have thought it was the assistant's call, and I've just seen a shot of him and he's just waving his arm saying no. Now, Jolyon Lescott's left arm's out, and as Kalou whipped it in, it sort of flicked the underneath of his arm. It hardly even moved his shirt.
Throwing to Chelsea, too high for Torres. City break. No, they don't. Lampard wins it back and then plays a high one, which is too high and too far behind Ivanovic.
You mentioned that lack of width at times for Chelsea, and certainly on the right hand side where they've got Ramirez. Now, one of the, I think, weak points of the City defence has been Alexander Kolarov, the left back. Not in terms of him not being a good footballer going forward, because he is, but I think defensively he's been caught out on several occasions. That's why, in fact, Mancini's put Zabaleta in there on quite a few occasions. So, but with the likes of Ramirez on the right hand side, Mike, I'm not sure how much they're going to gain an advantage out there.
Sometimes Kolarov is played on the left-hand side of midfield with Zabaleta behind him. But Zabaleta is away on compassionate leave at the moment, back in South America, and now City have a free kick. Dzeko's been fouled. Quite a few players in this commentary that I'm not mentioning many. I'm not hardly mentioned Milner in this game so far. City have a free kick. It's a long way away from Czech's goal, and lining it up at the moment is the man who really does have a big strike. Kolarov, the player we were just talking about. 21 minutes gone in the first half. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. So far, I don't think Hart's really been tested in the City goal. One save from Petr Cech. And now conversation around the ball involving three players: De Jong, Kolarov and Milner. So free kick to City. Dzeko lurks on the edge of the area. and it's touched off to Kolarov. It's dreadful. He hit it straight at Frank Lampard. Lampard now looking to stretch City down the this near side, but wasn't particularly well laid off by Lampard to Malouda. Milner got the challenge in. Chelsea have the throw in, and now it's Ashley Cole of Chelsea. 21.5 minutes gone. High one to the far side. Ivanovic always available, it seems, down that right hand side. A little give and go now to Torres. Torres turns. In comes his cross straight at Gareth Barry. Chelsea start again. Ramirez, the hard working Ramirez. Fernando Torres trying to hold off 2 or 3 City challengers. Going wide now. Torres pulls the ball in. Volleyed up in the air by Lescott. Problem here. Hart got his fist to it. Still inside the City area. Headed out now. Essien gathers it in, and City will clear. And Silva on the break over on the far side. Not much on around for him though, Silva. Silva takes the ball inside the Chelsea half and then should have found Milner down the right hand side, but he didn't. And it's quickly thrown up by Cech to Malouda. And Malouda looking for Kalou. In comes a good challenge from Vincent Kompany. Quick word from Craig Burley. It's the halfway point of the first half. It's 0-0. Then through to half time with Alan Green.
Well, it's probably one of the best pieces of play we've seen from Fernando Torres in his short time at Chelsea. They're really well down the right hand side, into the box, skipped forward, showed a bit of pace, clipped a decent ball in. Nobody could take advantage. But up to this point, Alan, Joe Hart hasn't the save to make.
Well, so far the game's having the same effect a cup of Horlicks would have at bedtime. It's anemic, sadly. Here's Kalou. Kalou in the centre of the Manchester City half. On to Ramirez. Ramirez with an opportunity to shoot. On to Lampard, flags up for offside. I don't think there's any doubt he was offside.
No, just wait. I mean, his timing of his run's great. It's the timing of the pass from Ramirez. He's a good yard and a half, 2 offside, so good decision there. But they're just gradually getting and finding a little bit more space, Chelsea, in behind Nigel de Jong and Gareth Barry.
Playing as they are, Chelsea 4-4-2. Craig, were you surprised that both Anelka and Drogba were left out?
Yeah, because I think when we saw the teams, Alan, and certainly
I thought it was going to be 4-3-3.
Yeah, I thought Kalou on the right and Malouda on the left, and I thought that was the only reason why you'd leave one, if not both, of Anelka and Drogba out. But I don't know. And bearing in mind, Manchester City play generally with 1 up and sort of 5 in midfield. Bit strange.
The League Cup final score at Hampden is Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Earlier in the Barclays Premier League, Sunderland 0, Liverpool 2. Malouda on the halfway line for the league champions. Back to Essien. Essien inside his own half, now inside the centre circle. Flicks it away to the far side towards Ivanovic. Back to Luis. Unfortunately, so much of Chelsea's football is slow. Terry. On to Malouda. Cole's available, but it goes in field to Lampard. Now to Ramirez, back to Lampard. This is a little bit better, but then the move breaks down. Good interception by the acting captain for City, Kompany. And then Silva gives it to Yaya Toure. Good work by Yaya Toure, evading Lampard. And Silva and Dzeko are ahead of him. Yaya Toure ignores them, plays it to the right to Milner. Milner onto his left foot. There's the cross, too high for Dzeko, straight into the hands, the welcoming hands of Petr Cech.
Not sure why he cut back onto his left foot there. James Milner could have taken a touch after good work from Yaya Toure and just whipped it in with his right.
Here's Malouda rushing over the halfway line. This is more pace, and he's brought down by Milner. Free kick. And it's a yellow card, I think, for James Milner.
Right, in a tackle down in the touchline about 2 or 3 minutes ago. I thought it was a very good one, actually, on Solomon Kalou, and timed it well. The Chelsea fans didn't think so. That particular occasion, he dived in from behind, tried to win the ball, scoop it away from Malouda, took Malouda first, stopped him in his tracks, and I think rightly given a yellow card.
Well, it's over 30 yards from goal, but Frank Lampard, the way he's grooving the ball at the moment before he places it on the turf, just might think it's within his range for a shot on goal. Joe Hart's had nothing to deal with at all. And now there's Petr Cech.
He's had 1 save from...
Oh, sorry, there was.
Yaya Toure.
Yeah. It was a good effort by Yaya Toure. Or maybe it's going to be Ivanovic. Well, it'll be Ivanovic or Lampard. The ball's pretty central. No, Ivanovic moves away. Nearly 26 minutes played. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Lampard with a free kick. Driven low and rebounds off the wall. It was poor. Here's Essien in the centre circle from the rebound. Essien waits and flicks it forward to Torres. Torres forced to retreat though and almost lost possession. He gets the pass out to Ramirez. There's a good challenge by Kolarov, but Chelsea still have the ball. Luis Shame he's not getting over the halfway line rather more.
Lacked a bit of guile, that free kick from Frank Lampard. Did you see the one from Charlie Adam yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Fantastic execution.
Luis over the halfway line, right in the centre circle. Poor pass forward by him. Cleared by De Jong to Silva. And now Yaya Toure. Milner breaks forward and is ignored. The pass goes back to Company into Richards. They swap positions for the moment. Oh, I think they're going to swap again. Ball back with Lescott. Now left for Barry. Onto the far side in Kolarov. Infield to Nigel de Jong. Edge of the centre circle. He just flicks the pass to the right flank to Milner. Milner's volleyed pass was behind Richards. It was poor. Company clear straight onto the chest of Cole. And then well done Milner. Milner taking the ball off the England defender. Milner approaching the Chelsea penalty area, then runs into the re-established England captain, John Terry. And Cole clears it to Malouda. Still Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Which would please Tottenham, I think. I don't think Tottenham particularly want either of these two teams to win the game. Here's Yaya Toure. Good ball to the left side to Kolarov. Kolarov moving infield. Plays it back to Barry into Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure onto the near side of Micah Richards. Richards now 25 yards over the halfway line to Milner. Richards keeps going forward. Milner looks infield instead to Silva. And Silva plays the ball to the far side of the field. Nobody's going forward quickly. There's no real intensity to the game. So far, a disappointment. Here's Dzeko. Dzeko holds off two challenges, gets it back to Barry. There's no City player anywhere near the penalty area. Yaya Toure trying to find Dzeko. Yaya Toure actually hit the ball against Luis. Wins it back. Here's Milner into the penalty. Onto his left foot. Good block by Frank Lampard. And it's taken away by Ashley Cole.
Well, they eventually got there, didn't they? It took an eternity, Manchester City.
Cole to Kalou. Good work by Company. It was a little unfortunate. The ball squirted away to Lampard. Excellent pass by Lampard to Ivanovic on the far side of the field. Already midway inside the City half. Very congested though in that midfield. There's no real width at the moment for Chelsea. Wide to Ramirez. On to Ivanovic. Ivanovic back to Ramirez. Torres waits. Here's Malouda. Back now to Lampard. Lampard shoots some long range, over 30 yards, and it's high and wide.
I just think it's the wrong option, Alan, again there. I mean, he takes a touch out his feet, no back left. He's trying to score from the best part of 30 yards, Frank Lampard. When he had a simple ball out to the left, he could have shuffled it out to Ashley Cole to get that little bit of width, create a better angle to get the delivery into the box. It just seems to be, both teams are trying to smash the door down the middle at the moment.
Hart with a goal kick for Manchester City. Driven towards the far side. Dzeko pushed Ivanovic in the back but got away with it because the ball broke into Chelsea's possession. Luis heads it back to Petr Cech. Cech out to the Brazilian defender once more. And he can move forward if he wishes, but he instead plays the pass sideways to his left to John Terry. Back it goes to Luis. And there's a marked lack of atmosphere around the bridge today as well. There's hardly any noise coming from the fans. Luis again. Mind you, they're hardly going to be jumping up from their seats at what they've seen so far, Craig.
Well, I mean, Chelsea, they're happy to pass it between the two centre-backs, out to the full-back, back to the centre-backs, and just Manchester City are going to do what they have done a lot of times this season, just get men behind the ball and make it difficult.
Company just smashes the ball over the halfway line, hopelessly, straight through to Petr Cech, who comes out of his penalty area to greet the misplaced pass. Forward to Terry, back to Cech. 30 minutes gone that we can mostly forget about. Carlos Tevez is in the stand today. Tevez picked up a groin injury in training. So there are a number of significant players injured as we move into these 2 international weeks. England playing at Cardiff next Saturday. The whole game, of course, you will hear on 5 Live. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 in the Barclays Premier League. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Here's Yaya Toure. On to Dzeko on the far side of the field. Dzeko down the City left. Good ball in to Milner. Milner shoots from long range and it bumbles along the ground and behind for a goal kick.
Well, I fear it's turning into, I'm afraid, what we thought at the moment, and that is two teams that are unwilling and in many ways unable to play the game with a bit of tempo. You've got two sides that have got wide players if you call them wide, players that want to come inside. I mean, that was a great example of the shot from Milner there. He was playing like a second striker almost. He was so far tucked in from the right.
I think City aren't quite the team they can be when Tevez isn't playing.
No.
They're missing him today. The little man's quite good. Silva, he thought he kept the ball and play on the far side of the field, but the assistant flagged otherwise, and it's a throw in to Chelsea. Taken by Ivanovic, launched in the direction of Torres. Company responded well. Company spins and knocks it out of play, but they've gained about 15 yards courtesy of that earlier throw in, and Ivanovic trying to steal some more. In fact, the referee's encouraging him to go further forward still. He's midway inside the City half from the Chelsea right. Ivanovic waits to take the throw in, throws it towards Kalou, goes back out of play off Kolarov, and courtesy of 2 throw-ins, they now, with the third of them, level with the edge of the City penalty area. Chelsea right. Throw goes to Ramirez. Back to Ivanovic. Ivanovic retreats and then plays it back to the captain, John Terry. Fabio Capello in the crowd today. He's his reinstated captain. Terry back to Luis. Terry on to Essien, just ahead of the centre spot. And Essien flicks it towards the left side. Accurately dashed to be called. Good control by the England left back. Back to Malouda. Malouda into Torres. Malouda once more. Long way out. Finds Essien with a pass. Essien misread the run of Kalou, which was away from the penalty area rather than into it. And it's cleared by Manchester City. The ball's back to Czech. Roddy Fasai. Sorry, the instruction came from the studio at a time when I was mid-commentary. Sorry, Roddy.
That's all right, Alan. It's just like 9 minutes to go here at Hampden Park. 9 minutes away from Craig Brown's prediction that this one would end in a draw and go to extra time. It's still 1 each. Rangers have absolutely dominated this second half, but it does look as though the labours against Eindhoven on Thursday night in the Europa League are beginning to tell. They look as though they're tiring. Opportunity perhaps for Celtic. It's still 1 each here at Hampden Park.
Here's Kolarov going forward for Manchester City. He was well tackled by Ramirez. We've got 12 minutes to go to half time. 0-0, and that reflects the game actually. It's pretty poor stuff so far. Kalou though flicks the ball past Company. Here's an opportunity for Chelsea. Kalou with Torres to his left, into Torres in the penalty area, delayed his shot. Brilliant comeback by Nigel de Jong to get a blocking challenge in behind for a corner.
Well, he was very uncomfortable, Fernando Torres, about getting his body in the right place to make this strike here. He was laid in down the left hand side into the penalty box and just delayed pulling the trigger on the left peg, and that just allowed a quite brilliant challenge from Nigel de Jong to get back in. Best piece of play by Chelsea, and especially Solomon Kalou.
11 minutes to half time, 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Malouda to take the corner. Luis is up in the penalty area, so too is Terry. Played in toward Terry. Terry hits on. Ivanovic didn't control the ball, and it's cleared by Dzeko away to the far side, and now to play for a throw in to Chelsea.
Well, I think Ivanovic actually tries to chest this about 8 yards out. Maybe it just comes to him a little bit quick off John Terry there. Couldn't quite adjust his body. Not great marking from Manchester City. Terry was free and Ivanovic was free. Two of the players you would expect that would be noted in the dressing room as to be picked up, especially Ivanovic. Terry's a threat as well, but he has scored a few goals, Ivanovic, from set pieces.
Ivanovic wins a throw in on the far side of the field off Kolarov. It's midway inside the City half. The throw goes towards Torres, but it was asking an awful lot of the Spaniard, and it's intercepted by Lescott and cleared into the Chelsea half by Manchester City. Luis picks it up. Luis suddenly sprints forward, gives the ball to Lampard. Lampard onto Cole on the near side. 10 minutes to half time. 0-0. Kalou. Back to Lampard, and now John Terry in a quiet Stamford Bridge. Luis to Essien. Essien now, good ball to Torres. Lovely flick by Torres into the penalty area. It's played back by Kalou towards Lampard. Didn't reach Lampard, and then as the ball squirted back on the far side, the offside flag is raised. Ramirez offside.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure after a fantastic flick from Fernando Torres, as he had his back to goal. Ball was played into his feet about 10 yards outside the box. He flicks it into Solomon Kalou. Who's picked out, who's tried to be unselfish, tried to reverse the ball back to Frank Lampard, who's challenged by Vincent Kompany. The ball went back to Ramirez, who was offside. I'm not quite sure whether that was the right option there, whether Ramirez might have just pulled the trigger.
From the resultant free kick, Hart hits it upfield. Here's David Silva on the far side. The pass was just hit firmly enough to reach Barry. Barry almost lost it, but gets it through to Yaya Toure, and then Yaya Toure pulls back Torres as he made a challenge, and referee Chris Foy nearby awards the free kick.
It's the first sign of applause I think we've heard round here.
Well, there's nothing else to energise the fans. From the free kick, the ball to the near side with Ashley Cole. Go ahead, Craig.
No, it always needs David Luiz to step out from the back in one of these mazy runs and just give. He's got it now. Actually, just give the place a lift.
Here he is, moving over the halfway line on the far side of the field. The Chelsea right. Ivanovic to his right. They can't get the pass through to Ivanovic. Intercepted by Silva. Little man Silva, and Silva runs the ball out of play under pressure from Luiz and Ivanovic. We'll go to Dave Woods.
Well, it's an extraordinary scoreline in the Rugby League here, Ellen. Warrington 82, Harlequin 6, full-time. 14 tries, Warrington, the biggest ever score for them. 10 different try scorers. 30 points for Brett Hodgson alone, with 13 goals and a try. A hat-trick for Bridge. Harlequins have won at Leeds and at St Helens this season. They're no mugs, but they've been pulverised here by a red-hot Warrington, who are top of the table, having won 82 points to 6.
Balotelli is amongst the Manchester City substitutes, limbering up in this near touchline, no doubt sharpening his studs. 8 minutes to half time. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Was there any excuse whatsoever for that challenge, Craig, on Thursday night, given the situation that City were in?
No, it was idiotic of the highest order. It was stupid. And not only did he let himself and his manager down, I thought he let his teammates down in a game where I thought they could have got back into that against Kiev.
Now, I think there should be a hold of the play here, because surely Richards sustained a head injury there. The referee's looking at it, but play continued. Then there was a sort of wild challenge on Milner. Now the referee comes across to see Richards to see if he's okay. Why didn't he just hold up play immediately?
Yeah, it's a left arm from Flora Malouda.
There was an accidental collision of heads between Malouda. After his arm had gone up, there was a collision of heads between Malouda and Richards.
Yeah, because I think Richards was fuming that he felt there was an arm from, and then 4 players surrounded James Milner and clattered him. I think he felt there was an arm in his face, Micah Richards, and he took umbrage to that and went in for the challenge quite aggressively with Malouda in the air, and they both sort of clattered heads a little bit. In fact, he is getting some treatment. Malouda's gone off down the. He's gone up into the dressing rooms.
Yeah, he must have a nosebleed or something like that. Oh, hold on a second. There was an indication there that Chelsea might need a substitution.
I think he's got a bad. I think he might have a bad gash.
Oh dear. Right, 6 minutes to go to half time. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. In the League Cup final in Scotland, is 1-1 between the Old Firm, Rangers and Celtic. And earlier in the Barclays Premier League, Sunderland 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool getting a penalty in the first half, which was never a penalty. The offence was committed outside the area. It should have been a free kick. And you know how long would the officials have needed to correct that decision? The first replay would have told them, and justice would have been done. I mean, I think Liverpool were probably the better side in the game, but really not good enough. That's, there's at least one major incident every weekend now that such poor decisions could be corrected very quickly. Malouda's all right. He's back on the pitch with a little bit of grease over one of his eyebrows, his left eyebrow. Ramirez on the far side of the field does really well, the Brazilian. Ramirez into Essien. Essien now dallied on the ball initially, but kept possession. Finds Lampard onto Cole, promising from Chelsea. Cole's pass slightly under hit. That gave Richards an opportunity to get in there and make a challenge. His clearance wasn't great though, but Cole gives it back to Richards, and then his attempt at clearance hit a City flourish with Kalu inside the penalty area. Kalu running forward, that's going behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, Company did really well in the end to shepherd that out. Showed some great feet in the edge of the box there, Solomon Clue, just to shuffle it from right to left and create a little bit of space. Wonderful skill, but then sort of got bogged down and crowded out a little bit. And again, Company was helped by Nigel de Jong back there, doing a good job. But I've got to say, the game is so slow in its build-up from both teams.
Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half here on 5 Live, 0-0.
And then Fernando Torres has been asked questions about when he's going to score his first goal. I know Dzeko has, but has anybody really been convinced by the price for Edin Dzeko?
No, definitely not. And from the way Torres is is playing and not scoring, Liverpool had a really good deal getting 50 million for him. But he will come good, Torres. He's too good a striker not to. Malouda down the Chelsea left, pulls the ball in. Kalou turns, shoots straight at heart.
Well, you mentioned Torres, and in many ways, when this ball is whipped in from Malouda from the left, and Solomon Kalou takes control of it, round about the penalty spot, he's got a simple little layoff to Fernando Torres, who was 17 yards out, very central, and he tried the difficult thing.
A long clearance by City. Dzeko doesn't get there. Luis does. Luis plays it off Dzeko out for a throw-in, level with the edge of his own penalty area. You know, Dzeko came to City at a big price and with a great reputation in German football. I haven't seen anything from him. Really, nothing. He's a big guy. Obviously, opposing central defenders won't particularly like that physical challenge. But does he look worth multi-millions? How long will City wait to decide? A bit like Balotelli. Excellent tackle by Terry on Milner. Ball breaks now to Malouda. Malouda 25 yards over the halfway line, moving in field. He's got Lampard running to his left, but the pass is to his right to Essien, onto Ramirez. And was that overhit? No, Ivanovic can keep it in play on the far touchline. A yard into the touchline. Crossed early, hit Kolarov. Rebounds to Ramirez. 2.5 minutes left in an anemic first half here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Essien to Terry. Terry in the opposition half on a rare occasion in his first period. Now back it goes to the halfway line to Luis from Ivanovic. You could hear the groans of frustration amongst the Chelsea fans. Not a good ball forward by Essien. Intercepted by Manchester City. Barry left by Yaya Toure for Silva. Into Yaya Toure. Milner with a bit of room down the right side, but the pass was underhit by Yaya Toure. He knows it. Ashley Cole intercepts. Rushes over the halfway line. Kalou to his left. It goes to Kalou. Malouda in field. Malouda takes it up. Back to Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole down the Chelsea left, and he's unhappy with the options in field. Plays it back to the halfway line and John Terry. Sort of sums up the first half up. Terry hits a crossfield from left to right to Ivanovic. In now to Malouda. Where's Torres? Torres is a yard outside the penalty area, but the pass goes nowhere near him. It goes to Kalou. Down the left side. Kalou back to Ashley Cole. Torres still waits. Cole now crosses into the penalty area. Underhit. Headed away by Barry. Here's Kalou. 1 minute left to half time, or at least until added time. Underhit pass by Kalou. Chance for a City counter attack. Milner finds Dzeko. I thought Dzeko was going to lose it, but he did well in the end. Dzeko finding Milner again. Back to Dzeko. Where's the width down the left side? That's going to be provided by Kolarov. And it's a good ball by Dzeko. Kolarov takes it on his chest. Crosses low, left footed in towards Silva. Knocked away by Luis to safety. And out of play it goes for a City throw-in.
Yeah, really fizzed that in, Kolarov there. Well defended by Luis.
Here's Kolarov again and tries to get a cross in. It hits the defender and it's behind off Ivanovic for a corner.
I think this might be the first corner, is it, Manchester City?
Don't recall another one.
No, I can't recall, so it might be the first time Chelsea have had to defend it. It's going to be an outswinger from Kolarov who has got the ability to fizz it in, but
Lescott and the dangerous Richards are up inside the Chelsea penalty area. There it goes, in towards Michael Richards. Brave header away by John Terry, who I think collided with his own player, Ivanovic. They're both down. Collision of heads there, it appears, and the ball's out of play, and we'll have a hold up in play while we make sure that neither of them is seriously injured.
Yeah, Terry and Kalou. Mika Richards was going for the ball, who is a big old strong lad. John Terry's taken a knock, but he's back on his feet. And it was Solomon Kalou's forehead, the top of his head, that's crashed straight into the face of John Terry.
What would Fabio Capello do if Terry's injured this week? Who's captain of England? I think Mike Ingham should get the job. For all that matters, Mike could go out there, toss a coin, and get back up to do the commentary with me.
I think, is that not how Fabio's been doing it anyway, tossing a coin?
Does anybody know what is going on in the England coach's head? I would really like to talk about that this week, if that's of interest to you on 606. The lines will be opening in about 10 minutes' time. 0500 909 693. Write it down and then call. We're deep into the 1 minute of added time. In fact, we've had the minute of added time, and it was unfortunately a pretty forgettable first half, Craig.
Yeah, I think we've had one decent strike, if memory serves me right, from Yaya Toure. Petr Cech with a good save. The shot was from about 17 yards. The game's been played between penalty boxes in the midfield. It's been slow and ponderous, which has really suited Manchester City, who will get bodies behind. On the other occasion, they've looked slightly dangerous, especially coming down their left, but I think Chelsea have got to add a hell of a lot of tempo to the game. There's no real width, and the Torres sort of Kalou partnership, safe to say, isn't working.
We may as well start again. Half time, it's 0-0.
I'm going to go straight to Hampden, to be honest with you. I've got no follow-up questions or anything. Go and get a cup of tea or something, I think. Roddy Forsyth.
Yes, Roddy Forsyth and Craig Brown are going into extra time, as Celtic and Rangers are. Mr. Brown got the prediction correct. It's the only thing we haven't had in an Old Firm game, of course, this season. And we must say that although Rangers were arguably the points victors, if this had been a boxing match, they might just have edged it. Craig, what you couldn't say in the last 10 minutes was that they were the dominant team. It does look as though their legs were beginning to go, probably as a result of that Europa League tie against PSV Eindhoven in midweek.
Yes, I think extra time does favour Celtic. They should be fresher. Rangers had the last couple of weeks 2 very, very tough Europa fixtures, and Celtic have been fresh during that period, so they should be the fresher side. But neither goalkeeper in this match has had a save to make. It's quite unique that an Old Firm game without any trouble. Very good behaviour on the pitch and off the pitch, as far as we can see anyway. We see on the pitch very, very well disciplined teams. I think they've been warned by the police before the match about the consequences of any misdemeanour. So it's a good sporting encounter, reasonably good quality of play, but very few goal-mouth incidents.
Let's just go back to what brought us to this stage. Midway through the first half, a Davis left foot shot. Forster got a hand to it, but the on-loan goalkeeper from Newcastle didn't get what they call a big hand on it, and it skimmed off his glove, skimmed also off the post, even then didn't go straight into the net, took a little curl before finally putting Rangers ahead. But 7 minutes later, an Izaguirre cross, a Samaras header behind him, and there was Ledley on a fine follow-up run from midfield to glance the ball away from Neil Alexander. There was one each. We had a tremendous moment of controversy when Ronya tackled Jelavic, appeared to bring him down. The referee clearly signalled a penalty kick, then changed his mind and gave Celtic a free kick and booked Jelavic, whether for simulation or dissent, we have yet to find out. There was discussion about whether or not it could have been the linesman's flag for offside. I understand that's not what happened, although there'll have to be some clearing up done afterwards. Anyway, the two teams are about to go back to their stations because they've had that couple of minutes break and a chance to take the power drinks and have a few words from the manager. In Rangers' case, Walter Smith. The manager in Celtic's case, Neil Lennon, was up in the stand, but we saw him on his walkie-talkie relaying those words of inspiration, which we presume they are, to his deputy Johan Mjalby. And we're about to go in to half an hour of extra time, and the reason is, of course, we haven't had enough of the Old Firm this year.
And I'm assuming, Roddy, that Neil Lennon will be able to use that walkie-talkie if it comes to choosing penalty takers.
I would imagine so. I would imagine, of course, if possible, you try to have your penalty takers worked out before the game so that everybody knows where they are. Certainly I know that Rangers have done that to the best of their knowledge. Not always entirely possible, because of course players can be removed because of injury, and of course players can be brought on because of their penalty taking skills. And Craig Brown and I rather fancy that if it's still 1 each or even 2 each, for example, if it's going towards penalties, then Rangers may well try to bring on David Healy for that purpose. But we're underway again, and no doubt you'll be hearing from us again soon. It's still 1 each, but we're into the extra half hour.
Roddy and Craig Brown at Hampden, thank you very much. So the CIS Insurance Cup final is into extra time at Hampden. I'll round up all the rest of the day's sport for you, including Kenny Dalglish and Steve Bruce after Liverpool's 2-0 win at Sunderland, all after Claire McDonald with the latest news.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
British Typhoon and Tornado fighter jets are on their way to southern Italy, where they'll be based for their role in enforcing a no-fly zone in Libya. The US chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mike Mullen, says it's effectively already in place.
It's had a pretty significant effect very early in terms of our ability to address his forces, to attack his forces on the ground, which we did yesterday outside Benghazi, and get the no-fly zone stood up. We've taken out their air defense.
He also rejected the Libyan health authorities' claim that 64 civilians were killed in the airstrikes.
All of these targets were looked at in terms of absolutely minimizing collateral damage, and the reports I've seen have indicated minimum collateral damage. I haven't seen any reports of civilian casualties.
Colonel Gaddafi has given a telephone interview to Libyan state television. He called the airstrikes a new Hitlerism and has vowed to defeat them in a long war. But the rebel spokesman, Mustafa Geriani, is confident there won't be one.
I don't know what kind of war he's talking about. He committed the awful war, the most criminal acts ever conducted by any dictators in the world he have committed. So we don't really pay much to what he says. Whatever he says, it makes no difference to us. We know we don't want him to rule Libya anymore, and everybody united on that. Libya is united, and Tripoli is going to be our capital.
There has been criticism of the airstrikes in Libya from across the world, both Russia and the head of the Arab League voicing concern about the use of force. Secretary-General Amir Moussa said the strikes should make sure they protect civilians and not harm them. In other news, there are more reports of violence in Syria. Security forces have opened fire on thousands of anti-government demonstrators in the town of Daraa, killing 1 and wounding 100. Japanese officials say they've made 2 of the 6 reactors at the stricken Fukushima nuclear plant safe. They also say they're making gradual progress to gain control over the rest of the facility. And a 90-metre long cargo vessel has run aground off the Isle of Wight. The Palissy is thought to be on a shingle bank near the Needles. 9 crew are on board trying to pump out water. They hope to be able to refloat it tonight. Travel news now. Let's start in Lancashire on the M55 eastbound. One lane is closed due to an accident and recovery work. That's between Junction 3, the turn off for Kirkham, and Junction 1, the turn off for Fulwood. The matrix sign there set to 50 miles an hour. And the M6 northbound in Warwickshire. One lane is closed due to an accident. That's between Junction 1 for Rugby and Lutterworth, and Junction 2, the turn off for Coventry. Claire McDonald, 5 Live Travel.
This is where drivability counts most.
Formula One is back for 2011.
A wheel-to-wheel, hard and touch! Lightning quick reactions. Sensational stuff.
I hope you're enjoying the excitement on the radio, because this is Formula One at its very, very best.
The Australian Grand Prix, live across the BBC.
It's time to go racing.
On BBC TV, online and here on 5 Live. Sunday from 6:30am.
This is Mark Chapman with 5 Live Sport this Sunday afternoon, live from Stamford Bridge, where it's Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 at half-time in the Premier League. How has extra time begun at Hampden? Roddy Forsyth.
Well, we're 4 minutes into it. Rangers look as though they've had a little lease of life, but I'm going to pass you over to Craig Brown, who with a manager's or coach's or motivator's eye spotted a difference between the two teams as they took their break just before extra time started. Craig.
Well, I was just saying to Roddy that Walter Smith refused to allow any Ranger player to sit and get any treatment or get a bit of massage. Half a dozen Celtic players were lying around, and of course Neil Lennon's up in the stands. Whether he was giving that message down, I don't know, but psychologically, when you look at the teams at the break there at the end of full time, Rangers looked to be the more disciplined, the more eager to continue. Celtic were loafing around, sitting, getting some drinks and getting massage, and if you look there, you would say Rangers are more up for it than Celtic.
And Rangers have just won a free kick, just as you've spoken to us, and it's within striking distance. Vladimir Weiss was the man who was brought down. So they've got Jelavic and they have Davis here, both of whom might fancy a pot at it. Just stay with us for the moment, because this is certainly within distance of giving Fraser Forster a problem if it can be got through the wall or up and over the wall. And there's a discussion between Davis and Jelavic. And I see also Kyle Hutton might just be fancying it, but I rather think this one is going to be Davis who's going to take it. Davis has been the outstanding player for Rangers today. He's got the goal, and he's been the tireless midfielder in a team that sometimes has looked leggy. Referee just wanting the 10 yards back for the Celtic players. Here comes Davis. He's left it to Jelavic. Jelavic over the top. Oh, and it's almost there, but with Fraser Forster flying the wrong way, and I think the ball may have taken a deflection. The goalkeeper made an awkward but effective save. The ball was going to his left as he went to his right. He somehow managed to pull off off a save by flicking the ball over the top. It wasn't exactly like the Craig Gordon save that made such headlines in December because he had more sight of the ball, but I tell you what, that was a tremendous save, Craig Brown.
Wonderful save, great reaction save. The wall was deflected from the head of one of the players on the jumping wall, the Celtic wall, and redirected the ball, but it's a great save by Forster.
Yeah, but Rangers Celtic haven't got the danger clear yet. It's Weiss, but Weiss in that case just trundles the ball into the arms of Fraser Forster. And I have to say to you, if this game goes Celtic's way, they'll look back on that moment and think that Fraser Forster certainly would deserve his medal. We're almost 7 minutes into extra time here at Hampden Park. 6th Old Firm derby of the season, and there's nothing to choose between these two sides. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 1.
Now, earlier today, Liverpool won 2-0 at Sunderland. Luis Suarez getting Liverpool's second. He then went on to suffer a groin injury. Kenny Dalglish has been speaking about the Uruguayan and his strike partner Andy Carroll.
It's saying for everybody that follows Liverpool Football Club, it's the first time Andy and Louise have played together, so there's very encouraging signs here that the two of them are going to be quite fruitful for us, and we look forward to that.
How serious is Suarez, do you think, Kenny?
Well, I don't know. He came off before me, but I've come out of the dressing room into here, so we'll let Uruguay know if there's a problem.
But obviously that puts a slight cloud on it, you know, if he's going to be missing for a little while.
Well, as long as he's missing for them and no us, it's only 2 friendlies as well, so we'll just have to wait and see. We don't know.
Could I just ask you if is it right that you have spoken to the owners about maybe carrying on as Liverpool manager into next season? Is that right? What's been said?
Well, it's right. I've spoken to the owners. Somebody will tell me what's in the newspapers. They'll probably tell me first. But for me, there's nothing to be said. There's nothing been discussed in detail, so there's nothing to report.
Are you planning to do that? Is that like on the agenda?
I'm planning to finish a press conference and then go up and do another press conference, and then if we've got something to tell you, we'll be delighted to tell you, but we've nothing to tell you. So if there's nothing to tell you, I can't make it up. I'm no Hans Christian Andersen. I can't make it up. But the owners, whoever's in here next year, will have fantastic owners working here alongside them, because they were really supportive in the January transfer window, and along with Damien Comolli did a fantastic job getting the 2 players in, Andy and Louise, and they'll go again in the summer for some players. So the club's in good hands.
So it'll have a happy ending then? Hans Christian Andersen.
I've never read it, I don't know.
John Murray talking to the ever entertaining Kenny Dalglish, although he might not be smiling now, Dalglish, because there's been a goal at Hampden. Roddy Forsyth.
Well, he played for Celtic, but he grew up a Rangers supporter, you know, so maybe he liked it when it was 1-each. Let's put it this way: Rangers have scored, and it came from a piece of very quick thinking by Vladimir Weiss, the substitute. Now, what happened was he was fouled away over on the far side of the field. The referee didn't see it. The assistant referee used his earpiece to let the referee understand that there had been a free kick. The referee stopped play, which had gone into the Rangers half, indicated the free kick. The ball went back to Weiss. While the Celtic players were arguing, he saw Jelavic beginning to make a run that was going to take him behind the Celtic back to the central defenders. Played the ball in for Jelavic. Mulgrew couldn't catch him. He must have been tempted to bring him down on the edge of the box. Instead, Forster came out, and Jelavic rolled the ball very carefully past him. It came off the left-hand post of Forster, rolled out of the goal, and then its curl took it back in again at the far side on the post, despite the fact that Izaguirre was trying carefully to scoop it out and frantically to scoop it out. And so Rangers are in the lead, and they took that lead 7 minutes into injury time, so we're still in the first half of added period here. It's Rangers leading by 2-1.
Thank you very much, Roddy. Back to the Sunderland-Liverpool game. Liverpool's first goal was a penalty from Dirk Kuyt. However, the penalty itself was awarded on the advice of the assistant referee, but even Jamie Carragher afterwards admitted that the foul took place outside the area. So let's get the views of Steve Bruce.
The disappointment for me is for weeks we've been banging the drum about getting the crowd in. It was a fantastic atmosphere, and for me the game for half an hour was anybody's game. Both teams were bang at it, and then starts the catalogue of what turns into a terrible afternoon, where I find it unbelievable that a referee can give the decision, and the right decision, and he's 10 yards away. He's 10 yards away from the action. I've just seen it on the monitor. He gives it, and there must have been a delay of some 30 seconds then, where the linesman then decides and intervenes and says it's a penalty, and he's 80 yards away. Now I know he's supposed to be looking alongside the ball, and he's got the line of it, but how can he genuinely make that call from 80 yards away when the referee's 10? If they got the decision right, then you hold your hand up and say to the guy, fantastic, you must have eyes like I've never seen before, but he's got it wrong. And that for me was the turning point in the game. Now, we still might have got beat, the catalogue of errors after we made after then, and losing 2 players within 5 minutes of that incident, it turned into one of them horrible afternoons for us where we couldn't do anything right. But the big talking factor was it a penalty? And the answer was no.
Steve Bruce after Sunderland's 2-0 defeat. India beat West Indies at the Cricket World Cup by 80 runs, and that result means that England will play Sri Lanka in the quarter-finals in Colombo next Saturday. The rest of the quarter-final lineup is Pakistan against the West Indies, Australia versus India, which will be a belter, and New Zealand against South Africa. In Rugby Union's LV Cup final, it's Newcastle 7, Gloucester 27, that's the latest. And in Super League, it's Bradford 18, Castleford 14, Warrington 82, Harlequins 6. During half-time, the crowd were introduced to a man who had brought his wife here to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary. On the basis of the first 45 minutes, he'll be lucky if she sticks around for number 41. Your commentary team for this second half: Alan Green, Craig Burley and Mike Ingham.
Thank you, Mark. I just wanted to make a point before this game restarts about that penalty, because we were watching it at Sunderland, and it's a hobby horse of mine, this, and it was a classic example of something we were talking about 2 weeks ago on the programme, because they had at least 30 seconds to sort that out, and it could have gone to the fourth official, could have been seen on a replay as we were watching in the press room, and in all the mayhem that followed on the pitch, it could just have, the correct decision could have been made. Anyway, I'm
taking the Arsene Wenger on that one.
What, you didn't see it?
No.
Okay.
I was quaffing a buffet in the Chelsea press room.
But it was just
very nice, I've got to say.
So simple, though. It could have just been sorted within 10-15 seconds.
Simple, and referees,
accuracy,
officials, simple. Come on, Mike.
Long ball forward in the second half. It's, by the way, half-time score here: Inter Milan 0, AC Milan 0, Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. I've just seen a picture of Roman Abramovich, who's here today. Apparently he wasn't a fan of some of the football Chelsea played under Mourinho. 0-0 here, and it's been very slow and completely different from the last occasion that I witnessed in the stadium between Chelsea and the other Manchester side from United, which was a really intense football match.
Well, let's all get down on the prayer mat, and hopefully these two sides can sort themselves out and give us and I think everybody in the ground a bit more entertainment than they did in the first 45, which was zilch.
Give you the lineups in a moment. Chelsea against this very slow build-up. This is the problem with the game. Good ball now from Luis to Lampard. Ashley Cole's made a run over on the far side. Ashley Cole holds now. In it goes with his left foot, stretching there to try and get on the end of it. For Chelsea was Malouda, and it's a goal kick. Now here are the lineups. Chelsea check. Mind you, these lineups aren't going to stay like this. Certainly Chelsea's. You have to assume Drogba and Anelka will come on in the next 15 or 20 minutes if it stays like this. Check, Ivanovic, Luis, Terry and Cole. Essien, Ramirez, Lampard, Malouda, Torres and Kalou. Remember, it's Rangers 2, Celtic 1 in extra time in the League Cup final with Scotland. City's lineup is Hart, Richards, Company, Lescott and Kolarov, De Jong and Barry, Milner, who's on a yellow card, Yaya Toure, Silva and Dzeko. No Carlos Tevez. I think this is maybe part of the problem here, in that there's no Tevez who makes things happen for City. There's no Drogba and Anelka, of course, who'd like to get in and make things happen. As we welcome World Service to Stamford Bridge, it's a lovely afternoon here. Pity about the football so far. Second half just underway, and a free kick to Chelsea given by the referee Chris Foy for a foul on Fernando Torres. When there's a moment, I'll bring in Craig Burley, who can just kind of summarise in about 5 seconds what he's seen so far. And now here's Florian Malouda for Chelsea. Goes around a half-hearted challenge from Barry. Silva tries to close him down. Silva clears straight back to Chelsea. Chelsea have made the brighter start. I don't think City crossed the halfway line yet. Dzeko, who's having a poor game, is easily dispossessed by Lewis. Then he has a little kick out at Lewis as he went forward. City have won it back again, and Kolarov, now the left back, is just shoulder charged off by Luis. It's a free kick to City. Back to Hampden. Roddy Forsyth.
Well, we've reached the halfway point in extra time, the extra period that Craig Brown predicted, and of course Rangers leading by 2-1. Nikica Jelavic scoring after quick-witted thinking by Vladimir Weiss. Took a free kick quickly, let the Croatian in. He drew Forster, struck it off the post. The ball came out of the goal area but curled back in, and that's the difference between the sides at the moment. Celtic 1, Rangers 2.
Thank you, Roddy. Kolarov of Manchester City, their first attack of the second half. Big ball in straight at Czech. Hit Craig.
Well, you said 5 seconds to summarise. I'll do it in 1. Not a lot.
No. It can improve for us now as Ashley Cole goes inside City territory. The referee does well there. Opens his legs, the ball goes through his legs, and now Chelsea build over on the left-hand side. Again, it's slowly delivered to Kalou. Kalou now to Lampard. Lampard with a nothing sort of dink ball into the penalty area. Comes out again. Shot from Kalou is deflected, and it's a corner to Chelsea. And the crowd doing their bit now to try and get behind the home side here.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt we'll see, I think, Drogba and Elka. Certainly one of them before the end of this game, but I think Chelsea obviously have to get a goal. But I think one guy I always think can change a game for Chelsea is when fit is Zhirkov. Yeah. Mike, I think he just adds that little bit of pace to the game.
Well, the ball is in the quadrant as Chelsea take the corner kick over on the left-hand side, and City clear. Back again to... The reason I said that, I watched a few games yesterday, and there were so many corners that were illegal ones, that were not penalised by the officials. Players just trying to get that extra inch and not even taking the corners from the right places. Frank Lampard now with a nice reverse ball to Essien over on the left-hand side. Not Essien, rather, Malouda. Malouda just held up by Company, and in comes the challenge, and it's a throw to Chelsea over on the far side. We've seen not very much so far from City in this second half. 5 minutes gone, 0-0. Torres receives from the throw-in. Chelsea building again, ever slowly over on the left-hand side. Kalou slots it back into central midfield now. Essien for Louise. You can sense he's desperate whenever he can to get forward here for Chelsea. He's certainly not having to do much defending. Now Ivanovic up against Silva. Silva got the challenge in. Throw into Chelsea. Chelsea the likelier team here. They're pressing forward, looking to try and unlock City. Remember, the 2 best defences in the Premier League. Now Yaya Toure trying to get away in midfield. Floats the ball to the far side. Milner's full of running. He's all on his own though down that right hand side. No support yet for Milner. Given back to Richards. Richards will play it through the back 4 now. Company to Lescott. And City, no great urgency in their play. They'll happily settle for this, I think, as a final scoreline, as Ramirez gets in the way of Kolarov, and now Torres picks up possession down the Chelsea right. Only Kalou ahead of him. Torres running into the centre. Feeds Florian Malouda. Now Kalou. Back again to Malouda. Oh, straight along the ground. Straight at Joe Hart.
Well, it's a soft finish in the end from an excellent chance, really, with Torres picked it up on the right, drove in, played a square pass. Ball was laid into Malouda. Penalty spot. Scuffed the attempted side foot on his best foot, on his left foot, and really got no power in that whatsoever. Easy save for Joe Hart. That should have been hitting with a lot of pace.
Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 on 5 Live and World Services. Kolarov's ball in is volleyed away out of the penalty area by Luis, only as far as Silva. Now Barry, and straight back to Luis again, who clears. No nonsense. Back to the halfway line. Both of those Italian managers down there. Ancelotti to the left, Mancini to the right. 8 victories each between them in their meetings over the last 10 years. This is their 20th meeting. It's a throw-in to Chelsea. Ivanovic to take it. Certainly Chelsea, the home side, playing with a little more adventure. And a throw to be taken by them, hurled towards Torres. How much longer will he be given in this game? With Drogba and Anelka champing at the bit, and also the other player Craig's mentioned a few moments ago, Zhirkov perhaps might be an option for them. A little bit of width. Throw to Chelsea. Neat head. No, it wasn't a neat header by Kalou. It drops to Milner inside the centre circle. Now Dzeko, who's really struggled to make an impact in this game. Richards, the right back, hasn't got forward very much so far for City, and he's just been checked by Malouda, but he's got a throw in over on the far side.
It's a big call, from Ancelotti to go with that pairing up front of Torres and Kalou, because if it doesn't work,
yep,
and if the two protagonists come off the bench and it still doesn't work, he's going to be given a lot of questions, isn't he?
Torres had tried to do a Muhammad Ali today, predicting he would score, as in come the challenges now for Chelsea to win the ball. John Terry's gone down again, and there's also an injury to Yaya Toure, but the Chelsea team move forward, but it's a poor pass from Malouda to Kalou, and now the players are motioning to the referee that certainly John Terry needs help here, Yaya Torres back on his feet again.
Yeah, Mika Richards is down as well on the far side. I think Chris Foy was going to pull that back because the injury to John Terry looked quite serious. I'm not quite sure what it is, but he's still down. He looks in a lot of pain. But Chelsea were on the attack, so he was caught, I think, between a rock and a hard place there. But if a player is seriously injured, you've got to pull it back. Apparently, that's the law. Just looking at, he actually makes a challenge on Yaya Toure, John Terry. He's injured his right knee. Now I think he's struggling. I think that's bad news.
And immediately the cameras close in on Fabio Capello, who of course, I mean, he's just reinstated John Terry as the captain of England, and now he's wondering whether he's even going to have John Terry with him in Cardiff. Back to Hampden, right side.
Well, there's a free kick for Rangers in a very important position. It's inside the D, and it was a most extraordinary break that brought them to that, because they're still leading by 2-1 incidentally, and we're now 20 minutes into the period of added time. But Paddy McCourt, on as a Celtic substitute, fell over the ball while trying to mesmerise two Rangers players. Jelavic was able to bring the ball from the halfway line all the way up to the edge of the penalty area. It was fouled by Mulgrew. Mulgrew has been booked for his pains, and Rangers now have a free kick inside the D. They're leading by 2-1. There are now 9 minutes remaining. The free kick is taken quickly. It comes back off the wall. Rangers still have it, but we still have 9 minutes to go. Celtic 1, Rangers 2.
Well, the bionic man is back on his feet again, John Terry. He's fine. Frank Lampard's just said, take a fortnight off, John. But he's going to come back on again, and he's okay. And where's the ball? Near side the Chelsea right. It's going to be an Ivanovic throw, and he just throws it back to Joe Hart because the game was stopped so that the players could be treated. So Terry back on again, and the throw from Hart now. Where's Richards, by the way? Oh, he's back on again as well over on the far side.
Just taking some sort of...
Oh, De Jong's lost the ball, and here comes Fernando Torres for Chelsea. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. On to Lampard, in goes Gareth Barry. Wasn't particularly well delivered though by Fernando Torres.
I don't think he's actually playing it for him. I think he's trying to take a touch for himself here, Fernando Torres. He wins it back initially from De Jong, then he drives in. I think he's trying to take a touch for himself. Hits it so far in front of him, it goes into Lampard's feet, and I'm just getting a shot of Roman Abramovich up in his seat laughing at the end product.
What's it going to take to get that pace back again? That crucial extra, that little bit of pace that's missing. I remember that the injuries took their toll on Michael Owen, didn't they? In particular, do you think he's going to rediscover this pace?
I don't know, Mike. Is the answer? I really, really don't know, because you'd have to know if there's any underlying problems with it. He's had a long-term problem with his groin that affected him at the World Cup.
Well, here come Manchester City now. Silva. Torres' fellow countryman, ball in the area, out comes Petr Cech. I suppose one thing that Torres will have going for him this summer, there's no tournament, so he can at least have a bit of a rest. Now Chelsea bringing the ball out of defence with Michael Essien.
Mike, I think Yaya Torres pulled out of that there. He was going through, Cech did brilliant to come out, but if I was Yaya Torres, I would have smashed into Petr Cech there, balling man.
Torres ball again there to Ashley Cole was heavy, and it was a straightforward pass really at this level, and he didn't find Ashley Cole, and it's a goal kick to Manchester City. They must be warming up the subs fairly soon, I would think.
And you're asking me about Fernando Torres' pace and will it come back? I would have to suggest if it doesn't, it's not exactly 50 million quid well spent, is it?
That was his game, of course, essentially, which took him beyond the very best defenders. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. John Terry's okay again. Header from Gareth Barry onto Yaya Toure, boxed in between quite a few Chelsea players. Great strength from Yaya Toure, but Chelsea emerge with the ball, and it's Malouda now with Torres on his left. Malouda slots the ball into Torres. Offside is given though against Kalou, it must have been.
No, it can't be. It can't be Kalou, because the ball was nowhere near him, Mike. So he could have stood 10 yards offside. He must have given it against Torres.
Must have given it against Torres. There's now City player long diagonal to this near side, and it's Dzeko now on his own inside the Chelsea penalty area. Luis backs off and just then shows too much of the ball, does Dzeko to Luis, who has this great pace, and the crowd love him here already at Stamford Bridge as Luis onto Essien, and that's got the crowd going as De Jong just body checks Essien on the halfway line, and that's a yellow card for him.
Yeah, Chelsea try and take it quickly, but they're not going to be able to, because Chris Foy is pulling it back for the booking of Nigel De Jong for a cynical block. He just basically runs in front of Michael Essien. But that's not telling the bigger story. Great defending from David Luiz there, although I've got to say Edin Dzeko, as he ran into the box, it didn't exactly give him a headache, did he?
He didn't. And talking about Nigel de Jong, pot and kettle, I think, this week as well, when he was expressing his disappointment with Balotelli's challenge in the Europa League. When you think back to the biggest game of all that he played in against Xabi Alonso in the World Cup final in South Africa. We move on here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 with 13 minutes gone in the second half. No changes yet made by either side as Luis gives the ball away straight to Silva, and now Silva hits it straight back to Chelsea. That is the kind of game we've got going on at the moment. Too many little with mistakes. Chelsea now with Michael Essien. Essien down the centre onto Torres. In comes De Jong. De Jong against Torres. Shades of the World Cup final. Out of play for throw-in to City this time. And there's no question, Craig, is there, that if you'd offered Mancini 0-0 before the game, he would have bitten your hand off, wouldn't he?
Yep, I think he would take that and quite a few games away from home, actually. It's a clean sheet and build from there. That seems to be the mentality.
Don't forget the lines open. Are they open now for 6:06? Yes, Alan Green here at Stamford Bridge with you straight after the final whistle to talk all football matters with you on 6:06. Maybe some thoughts on the England captaincy situation. And now it's a bit of a battle down there with Kalou emerging with the ball. Chelsea don't have the width. Now they try and press down that left-hand side of the field. There's a combination over there of Malouda and Ashley Cole. Early one in from Malouda, which is cleared by Company. Back come Chelsea once more, though. They do seem to be the likelier team if we are going to get a goal here at the moment. They're doing more pressing the home side. Essien's ball doesn't reach Kalou. Changes surely soon for Chelsea. Ramirez now skates round a couple of challenges. Cross it goes now to Cole. Onto Malouda. Kalou and Torres waiting in the penalty area. Ashley Cole pops up on the edge of the area. Very tight though. All the City players apart from Dzeko back. Essien's drive straight at Lescott. Back again to Essien. Chelsea trying to stay on side. Ramirez now to Ashley Cole. And now Malouda. Lots of passing. In goes the chip from Malouda. Ramirez can't reach it in the air. Comes out to Ivanovic. And Ivanovic puts it into the stand. And nothing at the end of all of that.
Yeah, just wiping there. Blood away from his nosebleed, I think, Ivanovic there. He just teed it up for himself on the volley as he stepped forward from right back. Manchester City had loads of bodies back in the box there, and they tried on the left hand side to create an angle, but they're not really, Chelsea, getting behind the fullbacks and creating a better angle. They're sort of flicking it in the box, Mike, from deeper areas, which is, I think, suiting Company and Julian Lescott.
Remember, City have a 2-point lead over Chelsea. Chelsea have a game in hand. And that's third and fourth, of course, with Spurs fifth. Could be important to finish third, though, you know. What if Tottenham win the Champions League and finish fifth? And the team finishing fourth won't be in the Champions League next season. But that's a long way down the line. Long ball forward now to Torres. Onside into the penalty area. Again, the delay. In came Lescott. And it's a corner kick to Chelsea. And Frank Lampard comes across to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's him all over at the moment, Torres. Although I've got to say the initial run was excellent. Just spun a little diagonal, a little run down the right hand channel.
Here come the heavy brigade. Ivanovic, Luis and Terry. Corner kick comes in. Terry tries to claim it. City get ahead to it first. Luis controls it brilliantly on the edge of the area. Feeds Lampard. Lampard's ball in. Header down by Ivanovic, and it's deflected by a City defender. Company for a corner.
He heads it. Branislav Ivanovic. He heads this from 7 yards straight against Vincent Kompany's head. That should have been the opening goal.
Chelsea threatening to take the lead here. Short corner. Played in deep. Oh, too deep from Malouda. And behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. Hanging on a little bit at times here. And Joe Hart. He still hasn't had to make. No, I'm just trying to think of saves he's had to make, though, Craig.
Well, he shouldn't have been making a save there. He should have been picking that out of the back of the net, because Frank Lampard stood a beautiful ball up to 7 yards out. Hart was stranded on his line. I'm just looking at another shot of Ibrahimovic, and he won't have any more fingernails left, but he headed it straight at Vincent Kompany.
Drogba and Anelka are warming up at the moment. A long one played high by Yaya Toure. Ivanovic with a strong header away for Chelsea. And now Chelsea looking to link in midfield. Ramirez and Essien. Ramirez improving all the time, a bit like Sandro at Spurs. Ramirez shows too much of that to Kolarov, and it's going to be a throw-in to Chelsea. Chasing the game, though, very much so. 0-0. Remember, 2-1 to Rangers in the League Cup final. 2-0 win for Liverpool at Sunderland. A Cout penalty and a special goal from Suarez from the angle. Now De Jong, good pass from him to Milner. Milner easily brushed aside though in Chelsea's midfield. Ramirez almost loses that to Milner, but the referee's whistle's gone.
Tugged him back.
And a free kick is given to City.
Yeah, Ramirez tugged Milner back there. I don't even think he had to do it because the touch had got away from James Milner. That's why he's given the free kick. Just one thing, in many ways with Torres, Mike, when Chelsea have got it wide into that, especially on the left, Malouda's delivery, or Ashley Cole in the most, hasn't really been great, has it? For that quality footballer, it's not been fizzed in. No. It's quite often they've hit a low one and it's been cleared at the near post.
Well, he's another player who's drifted a bit this season after making a really good start, Florian Malouda.
Yeah.
And it's a City throw-in, deep inside the Chelsea half, near side, 18.5 minutes gone in the second half. It's Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0 at Stamford Bridge. All very different from the fixture a year ago when we had 6 goals, remember, and City won by 4 goals to 2. Kolarov throw-in, gets the ball back again from Barry. Play the ball infield to Milner, but Essien scrambling well for Chelsea. Chelsea on the break now, Essien, with Torres taking up a position down the right. Very tight for him, surrounded by white City shirts. Has to settle for the throw-in in front of his manager, who's gesturing that he throws the ball back, and he does, to Ivanovic. Terry seems to have happily run off the injury he got about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Again, it's this slow build-up from the back, though. Back to Hampden Park. Roddy Forsyth.
Injury time and extra time, and Celtic have had a red card, and the reason was from a second consecutive corner kick at the Rangers end of the field. Rangers were able to break. Weiss was bursting across the halfway line. Izaguirre came over and simply took him out of the play. A straight red card. Rangers lead by 2 goals to 1. Yet another dismissal in an Old Firm game. It's been a clean game up to that. Izaguirre did what he did for the team, but he's paid the price, and Rangers now have 11 men against 10, and they have only to survive 1 more minute, and they will have taken this 6 Old Firm derby to a victory and a win, which will retain the cup at Ibrox. And as I say though, Izaguirre ordered off for straight red card because of that foul blatantly right in front of the tunnel.
Thanks, Roddy. We just had another poor cross, by the way, from Malouda to sort of amplify what Craig Burley was saying a few moments ago, as Chelsea build again over on the left. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Still no changes yet made by either Ancelotti or Mancini, as De Jong breaks up the play and gets it away from Lampard. Yaya Toure turns in midfield and feeds Silva. City on the break. Silva now to Dzeko. Here's his big moment. Dzeko edge of the area, and he just delayed, and Luis managed to get the block in. Again, Dzeko, a bit like Torres, lacking the conviction when it mattered.
Well, it was good play initially. De Jong won it way back in the right back area. He's done a good job today, Nigel De Jong, in that sense. They broke forward, they found Silva in the little pocket, which they haven't been able to do many times in the second half. He set Dzeko free, 1-on-1, driving about 20 yards out, Mike, with, as we know, against David Luiz, and he obviously didn't fancy taking the defender on. Tried to take it early, hit it straight at David Luiz, and then he had a bit of a rush of blood, and he's given a free kick away.
And Lescott has gone forward, trying to get on the end of it. Header on by City, and in the end it was Dzeko. And it's gone wide. It's a goal kick to Chelsea. We've played 21 minutes in the second half. It's 0-0 here. And back to Roddy Forsyth of Hampden Park.
And as you come, the referee Craig Thompson blows for full time, and Rangers have won the Cooperative Insurance Cup, aka the Scottish League Cup. They've retained it, and Neil Lennon's first chance of a trophy as manager has gone. The Celtic in this game were level. They were behind twice. They drew level when Ledley's header brought them back after Davis had put a shot in off the post, and then it was Jelavic in extra time to give Rangers the cup. No doubt you'll be back for the ceremony, but there we are. That's the result at Hampden. Celtic 1, Rangers 2.
Thanks a lot, Roddy. We're approaching the halfway point now of the second half. Just getting some pictures of could be a double change. This could be Drogba and Anelka both coming on. Well, let's just wait and see. Logically, maybe Kalou and Torres, or maybe Malouda may come off. We'll wait and see what's on Carlo Ancelotti's mind. So,
is that an admittance?
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do with Fernando Torres. He's selecting him. He's trying to give him the confidence. Didn't play him in midweek in Europe when perhaps he might have had a better chance of scoring against FC Copenhagen here in the Champions League. So the halfway point of the second half, Drogba and Anelka are about to come into the game. Still 0-0, and here's Alan Green.
I thought bizarre that Torres didn't start against Copenhagen in the Champions League. Now, is this going to be a yellow card for Ramirez? It is, yeah. So it's 0-0. The lines are open for 606 0500 909 693. both Drogba and Anelka to enter the fray very soon. After the City free kick, Kolarov back to Milner. Milner lays it in low towards the edge of the penalty to Yaya Toure. His pass back, not good. Silva robbed of possession. Ivanovic, Chelsea can counter-attack here. It's with Kalou running ahead of the centre circle. On towards Torres. The pass was overhit. Didn't do the Spaniard any favours at all. Torres keeps it in play, close to the goal line. Lescott is hustling him, forcing him wide towards the corner flag. Torres waits, hoping for a touch off Lescott. It comes eventually, and it's going to be a throw into Chelsea.
Well, 5 players ahead forward there, Alan, but just again the ball was overhit.
Yeah, Drogba definitely coming on very shortly. Chelsea on the attack, poor control by Kalou though, and a counter-attack on now from Manchester City. Flick to the left by Dzeko de Silva. Silva moves in field. He's got Barry available on the overlap. The pass wasn't great. Luis makes the interception, and Chelsea have it. That was unusually poor from David Silva.
Yeah, it was a bit of a waste. Look, Barry made a good run actually.
Yes, both Anelka and Drogba will come on. Will he be taking Torres off, or will it be Kalou and Malouda?
Possibly.
Play all 3 of them? That'd be bold. Here's Lampard, 35 yards out onto Torres. Torres was fouled surely by Lescott. No, the advantage is played. Chelsea have the ball. There was a foul on Torres. Ramirez down the right side, pulls the cross in. Lescott heads it away. And here's Dzeko. Dzeko running to Luis. I don't know why they're booing the referee. Chelsea had possession.
Yeah, maybe they felt that where Torres was fouled, it might have been advantageous to have the free kick.
This is interesting now. Torres isn't going to play out the remaining 21 minutes. He's replaced by Drogba.
He doesn't know it yet. He's walking away. He does now.
6 games without a goal.
No, there's boos.
It just ain't working.
I wonder.
And it's Malouda who's being replaced by Anelka.
I wonder what the odds are in going through the rest of the season with Fernando Torres not getting off the mark.
Well, it's becoming a big question. And people keep quoting the examples of Henry and Bergkamp at Arsenal and how long they went without scoring a first goal in North London. The difference is that they were both playing very well for Arsenal at the time. Torres isn't playing well for Chelsea, and he certainly won't score today on his 27th birthday. He's off the pitch now. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. Less than 20 minutes to go. Oh, good work by Richards on the far side of the field, finding Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure with 3 Chelsea players around him. One of them gets in a tackle. That's Ashley Cole. Yaya Toure hobbles away from that, but it will be a throw-in to Manchester City.
It's just another game though, Alan, where Fernando Torres goes home like every man, like every day in any day walk of life, and he's not had a particularly good day at the office again, and that's just going to add more, no matter what he says, it's going to add more pressure onto his shoulders and onto his manager, because he's made that big decision today, Ancelotti. We expected Torres to play, but we didn't expect Torres to play alongside Solomon Kalou.
No. Yaya Toure is being treated at the moment. The quotes from Torres, basically, I'm not quoting him accurately here, but what he essentially says, I'm not worried about my form as long as the team is doing well. But
which they're sort of doing okay, aren't they? I mean, they're off the pace. Anyway, I mean, the whole Torres thing is a subplot to a bigger story, and that's Chelsea. They're incapable at the moment of breaking this Manchester City side down.
And if they don't, would you say, what would they be? How many points behind Manchester United?
I think
Work it out. They'd be 11 points behind Manchester United with just one game in hand.
If they don't pick up 3 points today, I think
that's no chance.
Good night.
Yes.
God bless.
Yaya Toure, I'm sure will come back on, but for the moment, having received treatment, he's off the field of play on the far side of the field. Is he going to come back? They're checking the time about the throw in Manchester City.
No,
which is to say, no, I think Yaya Toure's had it. There's no clear signal from the physio. Anyway, Richards with a throw. Maybe Toure will come back and see if he can run it off. It's on to Milner, right at the penalty area. Luis comes across and takes the ball off him and then plays it off Milner. In fact, it was a handball by James Milner, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, Torre's back on, but he's limping. Be interesting to see if he doesn't, and he's unable to carry on in the next 5 minutes or so, whether Mancini would bring on somebody like Balotelli or Johnson to play in and around Dzeko, or whether he would bring on Patrick Vieira to just try and shore it up.
With Mancini's seeming mentality, it would be Vieira, wouldn't it? But we'll see. Here's Lampard. 17 minutes to go. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea and Manchester City on 5 Live. Ivanovic with a cross. Hits the defender Kolarov. Rebounds to Ramirez. Into Essien. Essien towards Lampard on the edge of the penalty area. Lescott hacks the ball away. Brought under control by Ashley Cole. Left side to Kalou. Kalou moving infield. Back tie to Essien. A good 35-40 yards from Joe Hart's goal. Still struggling to remember a save that Joe Hart has had to make. Cleared by Manchester City. Only to Essien again. Back to Luiz. Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0. None of the drama nor the goals that we saw in the equivalent game last season. Here's Ivanovic, who perhaps should have scored a goal with a header, but he's been fouled there by Kolarov, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, he was poleaxed by Kolarov there on the diagonal ball across to him. He took it down in his chest, and Kolarov just buzzed into him. He's giving away a soft free kick here.
So Ivanovic, who's excellent in the air, is with Luiz and Terry, as well as Anelka and Drogba, all inside the penalty area. Luiz calling on the Chelsea fans and the Matthew Harding stand to get behind the team. Lampard comes forward, right-footed. Not a great free kick by Frank Lampard. Easily headed clear. Here's Silva. On to Milner near side of the field. The Manchester City left. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. And now Kolarov takes it up. Kolarov now approaching the penalty area. Decides not to give the ball to Silva, but it's given to Silva by Yaya Toure. Silva again in the penalty area. Kolarov. Good challenge by Luiz. Luiz running the ball away. Milner takes it off him. Burley. Good work by James Milner. That will impress Fabio Capello watching, but the ball's hit out of play by Barry because Kolarov is down injured inside the Chelsea penalty area.
Yeah, I think he just got clattered as he drove into the box, and he was taking a knock to the left ankle, the left shin, and sort of just knocked the ball out.
So if Craig Burley, if we're saying that a draw for Chelsea would rule them out, the consequences of the draw for Manchester City, they'd move to 54 points, 9 points behind Manchester United. Same number of games played, just 8 to go. They're out of it as well.
Yeah, I actually don't think they're in it.
No,
I don't think they've got.
I don't think they believe in it.
No,
actually.
I think when you look at the team in several games, and most of the games, you think there's a team that can go and grab a game by the scruff of the neck, create chances, play good football with good players technically, like say Yaya Toure and Silva and Tevez. He's not playing today, and all these guys, a bit of pace with Johnson, but it just seemed to have the shackles on. Chelsea are going to make a sub here.
Zhirkov will be coming on. He'll be the final change as play resumes, and Chelsea give the ball back to Joe Hart in the penalty area away to our right. 0500 909 693 is the number to call if you want to take part in 606, which follows the conclusion of this game. Earlier it finished Rangers 2, Celtic 1 in the Scottish League Cup final, and Liverpool won 2-0 away to Sunderland in the Barclays Premier League. That looks like a foul by Barry on Anelka, and Chris Foy responds. It is indeed a free kick to Chelsea.
Now this is where the delivery, and you mentioned that last one, Frank Lampard played it. It looks as if he's going to play it again. It was not a particularly good cross. Solomon Kalou is about to be taken off.
Yep. So that's the last throw of the dice by Ancelotti. And basically he's changed, 3 attacking players in Torres, Kalou and Malouda, bringing on initially Anelka and Drogba and now Zhirkov. So the free kick's going to be taken by Frank Lampard from a similar position to the last one. Needs a better delivery this time. 13 minutes to go. 0-0 at Stamford Bridge. It's high into the penalty. Headed down by Company. Zhirkov from the headed clearance inside the penalty area. Back to Luiz, who'd come up for the free kick. Luiz on the far side of the field. Teasing Richards, who then fouls him. Free kick. Good work by Luiz.
Yeah, I think he just sucked Mika Richards in there, and he just reached some fancy footwork, and I think Richards had just had enough of that.
But that's precisely the reaction that Luiz wanted.
Yes.
Free kick to Chelsea, better than their corner, 6 yards in from the corner flag. Now, Didier Drogba was going to take this. I'm always surprised why Drogba, who you'd want in the penalty area, takes free kicks wide. But he will. Boyata will be coming on shortly for Manchester City. We've got 12 minutes to go. Drogba's free kick into the box, and that might be the winning goal for Chelsea. Drogba's excellently struck free kick. Good header by Luiz. It's his second goal for Chelsea, and it gives them the lead. Chelsea 1, Manchester City 0.
Well, it was an excellent flicked header by David Luiz, but it all comes about because he wins the initial free kick. A stupid challenge really by Micah Richards, way out in that left-hand touchline one. He wasn't going anywhere, and that's how you get yourself to the hearts of the Chelsea fans. Lovely ball whipped in by Didier Drogba, an in-swinger. He's getting picked up by Alexander Kolarov, who's touch tight to him, and all he does is just back off him that half a yard and flicks a little ball from the near post back across Joe Hart's left-hand side. Hart gets his fingertips to it, but it's not enough to stop it going in.
An excited reaction from Roman Abramovich. Could be a big win for Chelsea. Might keep them just about in the hunt to defend their Premier League title. And Luiz, not content with scoring against Manchester United, that was a vital goal in that game, perhaps has got the winner. Now there's going to be a double change. Boyata sat down for Manchester City, and we're going to find Adam Johnson and Balotelli coming on for Manchester City.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunately it's Mancini reacting to going behind, isn't it, rather than reacting and doing something when they're at 0-0. He's having to do it now.
Reactive rather than proactive. Ball played in towards Dzeko, and he's had a really poor game, Dzeko. Easily headed clear by Chelsea. Here's Drogba, and I have to say, why does Drogba take free kicks? Because he's very good at them.
Yes.
It was an excellently struck free kick.
And also that it's a classic case of not giving away soft and needless free kicks out on the touchline when David Luiz was given a little bit of show pony tricks.
He just sucked Richards into
it. And he basically wound Richards up, Micah Richards. He took the bait and he gave away a hell of a soft free kick out there. And that just put his teammates under pressure.
It would put them to 54 points, Chelsea. That's 9 points behind Manchester United, still with a game in hand. So Yaya Toure, we're not convinced about his fitness since that challenge earlier. He's been replaced by Balotelli. And, it's Milner who comes off for Adam Johnson.
Well, I think Balotelli is certainly one who's going to have to make amends for his manager, for his club, for these Manchester City supporters that have travelled here today, and those that are at home listening and watching.
Well, he's joined Dzeko up front, and the throw-in goes to Balotelli. His first touch wasn't great, knocked away by Essien. Here's Anelka to Drogba. Drogba tried to give it back to Anelka. De Jong intercepts. Then Lampard's in there, but he can only play it to Kolarov. Urgency from Manchester City. Balotelli back to Barry. Silva's in the penalty, so too is Dzeko. Balotelli takes it up. Once more he's tackled, loses the ball. Ramirez onto Drogba. Balotelli hacks at Drogba. There was a foul there, but the referee played the advantage. Here's Ramirez running powerfully forward, and then, I think he's very lucky to get a free kick there. In fact, it's a yellow card. Who got that?
I think it's Barry. Yeah, I think it's Barry, and it looked to me as if Barry is about to make a challenge, but it looked in the end that
he tripped in the ball.
He tripped over the football, Ramirez there, and there was no contact. Anyway, it's not the way Chris Foy saw it.
Well, considering what followed after I queried why Drogba takes free kicks, I'm not going to query this one. It's from the right for Didier Drogba. 40 yards from goal. There it goes, swinging in right, but it takes an offensive header, almost an own goal behind Shirley for a corner. It's got to be a corner. How is that not a corner?
It comes off Kolarov, doesn't it? David Luiz goes for it at the back post. The marking's awful. It comes off Alexander Kolarov. No other touch from a Chelsea player. It goes a yard wide of the right hand post, and Chris Foy gives a goal kick.
Well, his assistant didn't help him. I think Mancini laughed at that one.
I was just thinking back to that goal that David Luiz getting picked up by Alexander Kolarov, and that last free kick it came in, Alan. Julian Lescott was picking up Nicholas Anelka. Now surely Luiz from set pieces is a bigger threat than Nicholas Anelka. I'm just thinking about matching your big guys up with your big guys. Kolarov, for me, I wouldn't associate it being a very good header of the ball.
Manchester City have taken just 2 points from the last 4 away games in the Barclays Premier League. Behind here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea leading 1-0, and we've got 8 minutes to go, or a little less than 8 minutes, but we'll have added time. Remember, the lines are open for 606 0500 909 693. The ball is back with Joe Hart. Hart in the D of his penalty area. Hits it right-footed, high towards Dzeko. Dzeko jumped well. He jumped first of all into Louise, headed it on, but didn't find Adam Johnson. And here's Essien, just about getting the ball through to Drogba. He used his body strength to hold off Barry. Barry, who'd just been booked, couldn't afford another foul. On it went to Zhirkov, back to Ramirez. Ramirez tried to find Drogba, and Lescott is there for Manchester City. Lescott plays it towards Balotelli. Headed away by Ivanovic, and then it's headed out of play by Kolarov, and it's going to be a throw-in to Chelsea on the halfway line.
Now, City now have got Balotelli on the left, Johnson on the right, Silva in the pocket behind. How can we describe Dzeko? Cumbersome?
No, I'm not going to say what first came into my head.
I mean, I just think without
I'd be rallying City fans, and I don't mean to.
Yeah,
I just wish they'd shown this sort of urgency earlier in the game. City, here's Lampard breaking forward. The pass into Cole in the penalty area. Cole shot brilliantly blocked by Micah Richards. Ball rebounds to Essien. Essien into Cole again. Cole low cross into Anelka, cleared by Lescott.
Yeah, well defended, Lescott. It was a possible point-saving challenge, and if indeed at 1-0 down they can get themselves back in the game, because Anelka was lurking there. It would have been a simple tap-in had Lescott not read it.
By the way, John Terry appears to be fine now.
Yeah,
having worried about his knee earlier.
When he went down, they were on treating him well, and I honestly thought it looked like some sort of ligament damage, but fortunately he's been moving quite freely.
I think Frank may well have just leant into his ear and said, "Do you want me to be captain instead of you?" That's captain of England, not Chelsea. Here's Essien on to the far side, and Zhirkov. Anelka and Drogba through the middle. Zhirkov moves forward into the penalty. Great run by Zhirkov, and then he ran into Kompany, and Kompany clears the ball. Drogba tried to pull him back there. Kompany did really well to find Balotelli, who loses it. Anelka takes it up. Anelka shoots from long range. It's always wide of goal. Goal kick.
Yeah, hasn't had a great start, Balotelli. Couple of poor touches. Just lost it far too easily there to Nick Anelka, and then he didn't sort of bother tracking back. But it just shows you with this Manchester City side, and unfortunately, if you're a City fan, and then without Carlos Tevez, you just lose so much, don't you?
Absolutely.
And you cannot rely on the same guy week in, week out to do it all the time.
Think of all the money spent on Dzeko and Balotelli. You wouldn't want to depend on them. But here's Dzeko. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong here. Edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Tried to flick it in towards Balotelli. Headed away by Chelsea. Now it's Adam Johnson on the far side of the field. Johnson onto his left foot. Moves infield. Then he gives it forward to Richards. Right edge of the penalty area. Richards turned into Lampard. Lampard takes the ball off him. And Lampard should clear it. Initially, though, he gives it to Cole. That's a good ball by Ashley Cole. To Essien. Essien being hustled by Barry. Plays it on. It actually hit De Jong. And here's Kompany to De Jong. Less than 4 minutes left in the 90 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. Looked like a foul tackle by Lampard and Silva. No free kick given, and City rather squandered possession. Ball's out of play for a throw into Chelsea on the far side.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in naming his team Roberto Mancini, you kind of knew what it was all going to be about today. It was try and keep a clean sheet, which they obviously have it now, and hit Chelsea on the counter and try and nick a goal. But I think with Dzeko up front, they've lacked any real pace to even attempt to do that. And also by leaving Adam Johnson on the bench, and he's on now, I think it's a statement to say that they're thinking more defence and attack. I think had they been going for it, Johnson would have played from the start for me.
Lescott from Manchester City, trailing Chelsea by a goal to nil. Just 3 minutes to go here at Stamford Bridge. Kompany, I didn't think he meant to get the pass through to Silva in the way it did. It took a deflection off a Chelsea player, but City still have the ball. It's with Barry. Barry now hitting it high into the penalty towards Balotelli. It hit Balotelli's right shoulder. Not unreasonably, he didn't control it. Luis smacks the ball into the crowd in the west stand on the far side. Throw in to Manchester City. Johnson leaves it for Richards to take. We haven't seen Richards and Kolarov in attacking positions as we've had since Chelsea took the lead. The ball goes into the penalty area, headed on by Dzeko, caught by Cech.
Well, I've seen Micah Richards in the last 2 or 3 weeks almost play like an out-and-out winger at times, but he's just...
Well, he's obviously defensive under instruction. You know, City under Roberto Mancini are not generally an expansive team. Well, he does occasionally let them off the leash, and they're really good to watch. But generally, I don't know, is that what the owners want? Throw in to Chelsea in the far side of the field. 2 minutes from an important 1-0 victory against Manchester City, a side they've lost to in the last 3 occasions. Essien to Drogba. Drogba shaped as if to shoot, then moved into the penalty area, and he shoots off Kolarov as a corner. This time the assistant referee get it right.
Well, he's certainly not sulking, is he? Him or Anelka, I mean, they've almost just sort of taken it on board that that's been Ancelotti's decision. As strange as it was today to leave the both of them out and go with that Kalou and Torres partnership, but he certainly has made a difference. I mean, obviously his delivery for the goal was excellent, Drogba.
Here's Drogba with the corner. Tap short for Luiz. Back to Drogba. Drogba on his right foot. Plays the ball in towards the near post. It's cleared by Nigel de Jong and is met by John Terry on the halfway line. Into Ramirez inside the final minute of the 90. Ramirez passes overhead. Drogba chases after it and keeps it in play. Well, the cynical might say Drogba's showing all this effort because he's playing for his last big move. Because the thing is, you pay 50 million quid for Torres. Think of us, 6 months ahead to the start of next season. Who's going to be in the starting lineup? It has to be Torres.
Well, I mean, going on form at the moment, it would be Drogba and Anelka, wouldn't it? I mean, they might not be playing brilliantly.
It might be somebody else's decision by that stage, of course. Was that another yellow card? Sorry, I missed that. Anyway, it's a free kick to Chelsea. Tapped short by Essien to Drogba. Drogba, aware that time is all up. Tackled by Silva. Silva does really well. Gets past not only Drogba but Lampard. David Silva onto Dzeko. Dzeko back to Barry. It was a terrible pass from Dzeko and put out of play by Ramirez.
Yeah, there was an early chance for David Silva.
4 minutes of time being added on at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it was a difficult ball on the diagonal to Adam Johnson. It would have been a worldie, but he didn't fancy playing it. I think they've got a free kick here.
Yeah, fouled by Ramirez on de Jong. And look at Company rushing up. Now, I know he's the acting captain, but I think he's asking for a yellow card for Didier Drogba because Drogba kicked the ball away. Anyway, it's a free kick to Manchester City, taken by Kolarov. High into the penalty. Richards with a header there. Dzeko's there. Was he pulled back? Lescott's there as well. Assistant didn't see anything, neither did the referee. But there was a suggestion there of a tug inside the Chelsea penalty area in Manchester City's favour. Now they cross the ball in again, and Lescott appeared to be pulled down by Drogba.
Yeah. No complaints, they're all patting each other. Little hug from Lescott there. Nobody's asked for a penalty kick. Just having a look at it again on the replay.
But there's so much pulling and shirt tugging goes on these days. Corner kicks and free kicks and from open play in the penalty areas, and most times it's not punished. Here's Essien for Chelsea. 3 minutes of added time remaining. Great work by Ramirez into the penalty area. This should be 2-0. Superb goal by Ramirez, and that finishes off Manchester City. Wonderful from the midfield player who's shown such an improvement over the last couple of months. Chelsea 2, Manchester City 0.
Well, that definitely is a game-setting match, if indeed it wasn't. That second goal has just killed it, and Chelsea have deserved it. It's not been a great game. And you're right, Alan, he has been showing signs of improving game by game, week by week, Ramirez. He's got a little bit of pace to his game. He's not the strongest, but he's quite quick. Shovels it past 2 or 3, I've got to say, pathetic Manchester City attempts at defending. Brilliant run, and he's 8 yards out by the time he's 1-on-1 with Joe Hart. Lovely finish, high to Joe Hart's right hand side. No chance for the keeper, and Chelsea thoroughly have deserved it.
Smile in the face of Carlo Ancelotti. Roberto Mancini shakes his head. And I think this is confirmation that City's lone ambitions for the rest of the season, that FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United in April at Wembley, and a place in the top 4 of the Premier League and an opportunity to play in the Champions League.
Yes, they are now
not beyond that.
They are battling for exactly the same as what they were battling last year, where they lost that final game against Tottenham. That's it. And you know, City fans will probably come on 606 in your programme, but I think they're getting, for what's been spent on this team, I think they're getting, whatever happens this season, shortchanged with the players on view.
I agree. 0500 909 693 if you want to take part in 606. There's a foul on Dzeko and a yellow card for Luis. Yeah, rather unnecessary so late in the game with his team.
Well, he's just asking why. He's just asking why. He sort of does tend to step in sometimes and try and read things. That's kind of the player he is, but
I mean, the challenge just short of the halfway line. Anyway, Kolar's free kick high towards Lescott. Great catch by Czech. That's really all Czech's had to do, catch the occasional
it's
ball.
Not been enough, and I have to say, I mean, Balotelli might be capable of idiotic things, but sometimes I think you've got to take that out of the equation, because Edin Dzeko today on this performance hasn't looked like a £2 million player, never mind a £28 million player.
Well, as the classic cliche, you need time to settle in English football.
well, the Bundesliga is quite physical and quick.
Balotelli, well, he miscontrolled the ball there, and then the ball got past Terry. Balotelli pulled Terry back to try to make sure he could get beyond the England captain, and just commits a foul, and it's a free kick. And we've had our 4 minutes of added time. As soon as the free kick's taken, I never understand why you have to wait for a free kick or a corner to be taken before they blow the final whistle, as Chris Boyd's just done. The time is up.
Yeah, and I think the time might be up for Manchester City in terms of their... Well, I don't think they had a quest for the Barclays Premier League, not since about Christmas time. Chelsea, though, that faint hope of catching Manchester United lives on, and it is faint. And it wasn't a classic Alan today, and we never thought it was going to be, and unfortunately it lived up to its expectations. Chelsea did get better in the second half. Torres got taken off for again, so that just piles the pressure on him. Drogba and Elka on the bench, they came off. Drogba supplied the free kick for David Luiz's flicked header for that first goal. City then had to make changes to try and get back in the game. You've heard that story before. And then Ramirez killed it off. City never showed enough desire going forward. Dzeko up front for me was just hopeless today. And Chelsea did enough to keep their faint title hopes alive.
Absolutely right. Chelsea 2, Manchester City 0.
Craig, when Carlos Tevez isn't in this Manchester City side, whose responsibility is it to set the tempo for them?
Well, not Dzeko's, but he had to do more today than what he showed. Now, it's not easy sometimes when a team are playing so deep, but when you've got De Jong and Barry in there, and certainly De Jong, you've got some element of protection, so surely that allows some of the other guys to go and support and get forward. But we didn't see that. He was going to bring Boyata on because he was shoring up. Luis get the header, and all of a sudden it was Johnson and I can't remember who else it was come on, and Balotelli to come on. So it's, as we said, he's not proactive, he's reactive, and I think that's a big part. I honestly think, Mark, for the amount of money they've spent, the players they've got, the City fans are getting short-changed. They may disagree, I don't care. I think that's what's happening, honestly, and from what they've got in that squad, they should be doing a lot better.
And from a Chelsea perspective, when Drogba and Anelka came on, all of a sudden, when Lampard looked up, when Essien looked up, they seemed to have an option, which maybe they didn't have when Torres... It struck me that when Torres was on, when Lampard got the ball and looked up, there wasn't a run being made for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for Fernando Torres. I mean, I don't know the fella, but he is the subject of when's this first goal ever going to go in. But I think the general thing is his general performances at the moment are not great. There's no getting away from that, and I'm not convinced that he's ever going to get back to how he was in the early days at Liverpool. I haven't seen any signs to suggest that. So in theory, Fernando Torres shouldn't actually be in the team, but he is. He's been shoehorned in there for whatever reason, whether it's pressure from Abramovich on Ancelotti or whether the coach actually wants to play him. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think any questions will be asked because Chelsea have won the game. Had they not, then I think he'd have been getting some pressing questions down in that press room after.
Yeah, the fans around us are very happy. Craig Burley, thanks very much for this afternoon. Let's quickly round up